And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about how to grow on YouTube, and we're going to be talking about the journey from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. For the live audience, sorry for keeping you waiting. I actually forgot that I did not move this to Monday, and it apparently was moved to Sunday. So here we are. So we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. First and foremost, I want to thank the sponsor of our stream, our good friends over at StreamYard, who make the best and simplest solution for live streaming. It's actually allowing me to stream to multiple locations at once. We are streaming to YouTube, to Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, x.com, Twitch, LinkedIn Live, and Facebook all at once. StreamYard is simple and easy to use, and you can get it in the description down below. Thank you to our friends at StreamYard for sponsoring today's live stream. Make sure you're also tuning in. They will be having a special 100,000 subscriber celebration soon, having reached that milestone. Also, thank you to everyone in the chat who gave me a heads up over on Twitter that we had a live stream scheduled and that I had to rework it, delays, all those things. So thank you to everybody who let me know about that, so that we could have tonight's stream. My apologies. So let's see. We have some stuff I want to show you that is going to help with putting all this into perspective. We're going to look at analytics. Specifically, we're going to look at YouTube analytics, and we're going to look at advanced mode. So just a heads up that that's going to be a big part of the stream today. I'm bringing that up here on screen for you to be able to see. If you'll give me a moment. So we're going to actually look at analytics, and we're going to look at the lifetime analytics on the channel in advanced mode. And then I'll actually be breaking down everything. Shout out to Technically T, who is actually one of my coaching clients who's about to hit 100,000 at 95,000 subscribers, T, and has been killing it. Also did a great partnership and got his own custom case designed for the new iPhone 15, which is getting rave reviews. So definitely shout out Technically T. Also, we can at some point talk about the new announcements from Team YouTube and the new tools. But today I want to focus primarily, at least, on the growth perspective stuff. So we're going to dive heavily into that today in terms of those analytic stats, because I want to show you something, and then I'll show you something in Social Blade that kind of drives this same point clear, which a lot of you may be unfamiliar with. In fact, actually, let's go ahead and let me put something into perspective, because like this one it's rough for a lot of creators to really get a grasp of this concept, but I'll try and illustrate it here. So let me go ahead and switch screens real quick, because I think this will help you. So what you'll be seeing here on the screen, and let me make it a little bigger. This is the top, God, how many is it? The top 500 YouTube channels by subscriber count. Now, I want to show you something that gets drastically overlooked here, and I hope you can see this on my screen. Hopefully it's big enough. So the number of uploads and the number of subscribers. This is what I want to show you. Now, again, I know these are astronomical YouTubers, so this may not feel relatable, but I want you to see that the majority, the overwhelming majority of YouTube channels that have made it big, and this would apply in almost any niche, by the way, have uploaded hundreds, if not thousands, of videos. Now, of course, yes, these are some huge creators. A lot of these are household names. I totally get how unrelatable it is. There are exceptions like Dude Perfect who have uploaded like less than 500 videos. But for the most part, you can see that unless you're very exceptional or you're a musician, and the top is a lot of musicians, that takes thousands upon thousands of videos. If I like scroll even just to the bottom 500 here. Okay. Who apparently a lot of them are still musicians. It takes hundreds, if not thousands, of videos to be a top creator. If I go to other niches and I go to even something, if I go to something even like pets and animals, and I sort by the top subscribers, and I go all the way to the very bottom of the top 500 list, or actually, I think I have access to top 5,000, I think, or something like that, or top 1,000. No, I have access to the top 1,000. If I scroll to the bottom of the top 1,000, even creators with hundreds of thousands of subscribers instead of tens of millions of subscribers, it still takes hundreds, if not thousands of videos just to clear 400, 500K. And I would know I'm at 1,600 subscribers, sorry, 1,600 videos myself and almost 600,000 subscribers here. So I just want to put into perspective for you by showing you this and showing you that even in any niche, the top 1,000 creators, just how many videos they have to make to get anywhere, and that on average, to clear these kind of numbers, you're talking about hundreds, sometimes thousands of videos to get anywhere. So if you've only made less than 100 videos, then you don't have anything to be embarrassed about, or you don't have anything to be ashamed about that you feel like you're still struggling to grow. That's pretty normal. If we're being honest, it's fairly normal. And what is abnormal is to make dozens or even 100 videos and to get these numbers. It is an anomaly. And you can see that here clearly in the data for yourselves. It's not me making any of this up. This is just how it is. Um, in terms of uploads, this counts shorts, but the majority of these creators were not shorts creators at all because of the age of their channels and the fact that shorts is just relatively new. You would make the argument that if anything, it would be the creators who like have the smallest upload counts made shorts and blew up. But that's very rare also. And even with that and all the views that it gets, shorts doesn't really pay anything. So I'm not trying to dunk on shorts creators, but if you become a big creator from shorts, you could have 1 million subscribers from shorts and not be making real money or be able to be full time yet. Brockton Magnet Fisher, thank you for the $10 super chat. Roberto, question: will StreamYard start mixing Facebook and other streaming chat logs together so we can see each other's chats while we're doing lives? Keep up your amazing work. So the thing is, I see them, but I don't think you'll be able to see them on YouTube. At some point, if it lets me like display all chat on the screen sometime or at some point, then that would work out. But other than that, no, that wouldn't be the case where we could have mixed chat. I wish we did. I can see it as the creator, but as the viewer, then it's not you. Salvatore says, is it more about views, not subscribers to make money? It depends. If you're talking about ad revenue, it's views. But if you're talking about the other parts of YouTube, to some degree, sponsorship to some degree is tied to subs because it's tied to status, but it's tied to reputation. It's not just tied to reach. It's not just tied to views. It's tied to what the creator represents and how well they represent the audience, the brand, reputation. There's a lot of factors that go into that, proof of previous revenue generation. So there is that aspect of it. But again, keep in mind that shorts is not necessarily a path to riches, but it is a path to subscribers. Some people do unlist their videos. Mr. Beast unlisted like, I think he unlisted like 300 videos, something like that. Because he's definitely uploaded more. It took Mr. Beast 460 videos to even crack 10,000 subscribers, believe it or not. So yes, you have to take Social Blade to some degree with a grain of salt. Social Blade Shorts did not increase the number of videos for the thing I'm showing you, just because there's so few of these big creators that did it, just to make that clear. But again, I want to show you something in analytics here. We're going to go into advanced mode analytics, and then we'll drill down into some lessons based on this. Because again, I just wanted to set the tone and set perspective for you. So let's start with something simple to grasp before we go bigger. Let's go to my analytics over the course of 2013. So for 2013, and this may not seem like a lot, but I will explain it. So for 2013, I have 2.7 million views so far, and we're 3/4 of the year through, basically. 1.5 million watch hours, 26,000 new subscribers, 23,000 in YouTube partner program revenue, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the stats for 2013. Now, again, in my prime, at the peak of my YouTube channel, if we go back, there's let's see, if we go back, if we analyze year over year, let's just say, right? If we look at that compared to the previous year, it goes with views first. And so if we compare it, I'm well ahead of last year by a lot in terms of views. If we are going off of views, if we go off of subscribers compared to the same time period in the previous year, I'm ahead in terms of that. But I'm going to do something special. I'm going to put in something custom. We're going to take this all the way back. We're going to take this back to 5 years previous. We're going to take this to 5 years previous, and we'll compare that. Now, 5 years ago, by this point in time, I would have probably have grown significantly more in terms of subscribers, by as much as more than 2 times as much, maybe about 2.25 times as much. And why is that in terms of that growth? I'm going to show you something that might surprise you. In terms of, if we can display it, videos published, the difference is that the videos I published so far this year is 34 videos. And the videos that I would have published by this time back in 2018 would have been 126 videos. That is literally about roughly 4 times as many videos, roughly 4, or about 3.75 times as many videos. So the difference is publishing 3 times as many videos to only get about roughly 2.5 times as many. Yeah, about 4 times as much to get publishing, to get 2.5 times as many subscribers. So that's a pretty significant difference in publishing to subscriber rate when you really think about it, because that's a lot more work. You have to think about how much more work it is to make 126 videos versus 34 videos. It's literally 100 videos more per year to get about roughly another 30,000 subscribers per year, which is, by the way, that one was 3/4, 75%, 3/4 of the year, which means that back in 2018, this is when I was still at my peak, when I was still pulling down about roughly 100,000 new subscribers per year. So when I tell you I know how to go from 0 to 100,000, what you have to understand is, after I initially broke 100,000 subs in 2016, I grew by another 100,000 in 2017, and then I did again in 2018. I may have even done it again in 2019. If I adjust the dates here, maybe I'd still did this by 2019. By 2019, I published a lot more videos in 2019. What did I do in subs? So that was the amount published. What was the subscribership? Oh, yeah. In 2019. Oh, wait. Hang on. I messed up the custom dates. Hang on. I think I still did a lot in 2019. Give me 1 second. Yeah, in 2019, I was still doing double the amount of subscribers, but I also still posted significantly a large number of videos. So in 2019, I believe by the end of that year, if I did the full year, I probably grew by 80,000 subs for the full year, 80 or 75. So still not quite as much as my peak when I was growing by 100,000 per year. But again, 100,000 per year in 2016, 2017, 2018. Didn't start to drop off from that until about 2019, but this starts to go into the years where I actually moved houses. And then after that, we had the pandemic. So the big dip related on the previous screen really comes down to, like I said, it comes down to the amount of videos I published, which is why when I tell you that most of YouTube, everyone picks out the anomalies, but between what I showed you on my own channel, which I'm one of the only 500K plus channels to ever show their analytics in detail. And I will show you my lifetime analytics. I have no problem showing you that. But when I show you all of this data, and I've done it probably more than any other big YouTuber, I probably shared more data than any other big YouTuber. And then I show you Social Blade, and you see in any category you pick, if I show you every category of Social Blade for YouTube, all the major categories for every major type of YouTube channel you could do, I've averaged the numbers. And to break through, it takes literally for the majority of creators, not the anomalies, not the Mark Robers of the world, okay? Not the James Johnnies of the world, even, who I love, by the way. I love James Johnny. He does tremendous work. I've had the privilege of doing a coaching call with him back before he had 1 million subs. We worked on something. But like the cool thing that I've noticed is that consistency, if you make something that people do respond to and you do it consistently enough, if you can figure out something that drives subscribers, if you can find even one video idea that gets you 1,000 subscribers from one video idea, then you can start to understand how to make more content that drives subscribers. And if you do that consistently, video after video, and you improve it, then ultimately what happens is that you end up being able to continue to grow a lot. And what I mean by that is if you look at these numbers, these are the numbers of subscribers for individual videos, by the way, that then grew the channel. So as you can see, over time, I started to learn more about which videos could get me hundreds or thousands of subscribers. So if I take off this comparison and then we look at individual videos that get subscribers, you'll notice even for this year that the videos driving subscribers, that there are individual videos that drive hundreds of subscribers. And then it starkly drops off because, again, I need to make more content. But you can see the point is if the more videos you make that actually accomplish the goal of driving subscribers, the more you will grow. And that means that if you want to grow to 100,000 subscribers, that being able to produce videos that individually can get hundreds or thousands of those subscribers becomes the key. And so what we'll do here is we're going to go back in time. We're going to go back in time on my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to use this to make it easier. We're going to go to a custom part of the timeline. We're going to go all the way back in time to 2015, which is when I would say I most significantly figured this out. And I'm going to show you what that looked like. So if we go all the way back in time, and I don't need watch hours, so we're going to remove that metric. If we go back to 2015, when I went daily, you can see it. 365 videos published. That's a lot of videos. That's a lot of videos. Okay. And let's see what happened here. So back in 2015, I published 365 videos. Notice that my top videos are not how to grow a YouTube channel. It's graphic design. This one was how to get 100 subs, meaning I literally, until I'd like had thousands upon thousands, did not bother to tell anyone how to grow on YouTube. More graphic design, best free video editing software for YouTube. That one did not really grow the channel as much. I mean, you can even see that none of these YouTube help videos were what drove the subscribers of my channel. Video editing in Premiere Pro, Fiverr, graphic design, Mac versus PC. This one's how to get 10K in 12 months, which I did, by the way. I accomplished that myself. Only 300 subs from that. Even how to make money online. Like, YouTube growth did not grow my channel initially. That didn't happen until after I already had 100,000 subscribers. Because to some degree, to be fair, people listening to me, like, okay, why would they care? You know. So if you look at it, it's a lot of camera and tutorials, graphic design tutorials, tech videos, product reviews, that sort of thing. Best specs for building a PC, for Photoshop. And again, I found individual videos that got me hundreds of subscribers, which drastically helped, because in that year, I grew by 50,000 subscribers in that year. You have to remember, I was a small YouTuber at the beginning of that year. I did not have a lot of subscribers. In terms of subscribers, at the beginning of 2015, I probably had only about 20,000 subscribers, I would say, maybe less. So you have to understand what we're looking at here, and that this is something I had to figure out. To make a point, what I'll do is I'll show you 2014. I'll show you 2014, and that will give you some perspective. Actually, wait a minute. I can do one better. So I have 2015 here. What I'll do is I'll use the compare tool in advanced, and I'll compare it to the preceding period over period. We'll just compare it to 2014. So in terms of subscribers gained, in 2014, I only gained 14,000 subscribers in 2014. And if you look at it, I was not getting that many subscribers per video. It wasn't that many subscribers per video that I was able to get. Meanwhile, look at this. I was able to grow significantly. So I went from 14,000 subscribers in a year to 50,000 subscribers in a year. What's that? Isn't that basically a 4 times difference? Isn't that a 4 times difference? And you can see for yourself, I didn't go viral either. And my content wouldn't be the type of content to go viral. So what changed? Well, let's look at the amount of videos I published. Now, in my case, I was still learning the ropes here, but I went from 250 videos in that time to 365 videos in that time. And what a difference it makes. Let's take this further. Let's take this further. Shall we? Let's go back in time all the way to 2013. Let's go to 2013, when I started taking YouTube seriously, and I hadn't uploaded in forever. In fact, you can see there's a big data hole here, because, you know, YouTube's like, hey, what's going on, guy? And so there's a data hole here. I had basically very little in subscribers. And data hole aside for YouTube, I didn't have a lot going on here, you know. And if you look at my revenue, it was nothing. It was nothing. I made nothing. I made no money. Okay. So, you know, nothing really going on here. Well, what about before that, Roberta? What about before that? Well, look at this. Before that, yeah, didn't really do anything, and there was nothing to be had. So, as you can see, there wasn't a before that. There wasn't really a before that. I hadn't published in years, for the most part, or it was very sporadic. Like, it was nothing. So let's look at the period from January 2013 all the way through December of 2016, shall we? So in that time period, I published almost 1,000 videos, 941 videos, to get to 177,000 subscribers in that time period. Now, just for the sake of argument, because that is December, so that is giving me more than 3 years, let's just make it even Steven, shall we? Let's go from the January to the January and just make it 3 years even Steven, even though I didn't really upload anything in the beginning of 2013, as you can see. Let's just do that. So from January, where I didn't really upload, I didn't ever upload anything, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Let's go to like kind of more or less when I hit 100,000 subscribers. Let's customize it. So we'll go to, I think it was, I want to say April. So yeah, we'll do April. Yep, about 100,000 subscribers right then. 793 videos roughly to do that. So roughly 793 videos. And then, as you can see, no videos that went viral. No videos that went viral. So what happened? It was the accumulation of videos that were able to get hundreds of subscribers on their own, a few that did 1,000, and it all added up, with the biggest outlier there being a video that got 4,000 subscribers on graphic design. As you can see, those first 3 years, all of my content is search-friendly content. It's help content. It's search-friendly content. In fact, if we want to view traffic source, what's the traffic source for the content? It's search, suggested videos, very tiny bit of external. Most of that will be Google. At the time, the YouTube homepage was very different at the time. The YouTube homepage did not really help you at the time. This was before the big algorithm shift, but I've survived every algorithm shift, by the way. Do shorts, if not posting, hurt your revenue? I noticed making 45 combined with shorts went down to like 12. I'll talk about shorts later. There's a super chat I think I missed. A couple of months ago, I was growing at least 10,000 subscribers a month, but suddenly stopped now, losing 500 subs and views suddenly stopped. Don't know what I should do or what happened. Heroes TV Japan, thank you for the 1,000 yen, which is about 10 bucks, I would say. Here's the thing. I'd have to look at your analytics to even have any clue of what went on. So I don't know what to tell you there, because that's a massive, massive drop. And I wouldn't know what to tell you unless I looked at your analytics. Speaking of 100K Club, welcome El Jefe Reviews. Appreciate you. Yucky Ham Sandwich says, you know what's crazy? My first video from you was Photoshop CC tutorial using adjustment layers to make photos pop like 8 years ago. Yeah, that tutorial content brings people in and it can make an impression. It can make an impression. Chantel says 2015 is when I started stalking Roberto's content. Thanks, Chantel. Wow, that was helpful. YouTube has a lot of information in it. If people take the time to understand their analytics, they'll be able to grow faster. Yes, that's what I did over time. My biggest regret as a small YouTuber was the fact that I rebelliously kept trying to make whatever I want. That might sound counterintuitive, but if you listen to my advice, for those trying to be a full-time YouTuber, you have to remember and understand 2013 through 2016 was a different culture. It was a different culture. It was a different vibe back then. And my biggest regret is I would be a bigger channel if I hadn't rebelliously kept trying to make whatever I wanted. And if I had used more of my analytics and respected what my audience was giving their views and subscriptions to, it would have went much better, much faster than me. I could be a bigger channel. I could be a much, much, much bigger channel right now. I could be a 1,000,000 sub channel right now if I had prioritized ruthlessly my analytics. And I'm going to show you that here, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a trip in time here, where I'm going to show you up until roughly let's go to the end of 2019, shall we? And then I will show you what happened when we get to the pandemic. So in 2018, 2019, I had a lot going on that precipitated a reduction in uploads for me and therefore a reduction in growth. And I'm going to show you that here with these metrics. I'm going to show you videos published. And you're going to see that the videos published over time and the impact it has consistently over my subscribers. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at that to see it more clearly. We're going to see a monthly breakdown. Now, as you can see, my subscriber growth mirrors mostly my uploads. And by that, I mean, if you look at videos published in that time period, and then you look at subscriber growth, as I publish more and more frequently, my subscriber growth starts to increase. And then it peaks here. And you can see how it just starts to, at a certain point, once it starts to line up, in terms of green is the videos published, purple is subscriber growth, and this is monthly that you're seeing. So this is monthly that you're seeing. Okay. If we go and we look at it as a bar chart, maybe, nope, that doesn't give us what we want. We need the line chart. Yeah, we need a line. I need YouTube to update this. So then I want to show you yearly on the line chart. There's a little bit of a data gap here, but yeah, we just have to ignore that. But if we look at it, once I started publishing pretty much daily or close to daily, and I'm not telling you to go daily, it worked. But then I stopped needing to publish as much to get the same results. And roughly the right amount turned out to be about 150 videos, which turned out to be 3 times a week. 3 times a week turned out to be the right amount of videos. 150 videos would put me on track. Now, if we analyze the data that we got for 2023, if you remember, I've uploaded 34 videos for 2023, and we've gotten approximately 26,000 subscribers in 2023. What do you have to multiply by to turn 34 into 150? That's roughly 5, right? A little less than 5, about 4.75. So if you multiply even just 4, let's just call it 4. Let's call it 4 because then that's 34 times 4 gives you 136, right? 136, is that right? 34 times 4 is about 136. Okay, that's a little shy of 150, but we'll take it, right? Well, what's 4 times 26? That's more than 100,000. Now, I'm not going to suggest that all uploads are linear to where, okay, if I upload exactly this much, I'll get exactly this much subscribers. But we have a pattern with this channel, and that's the key to YouTube, pattern recognition, right? 84 uploads got me about 60,000. So again, we have pattern recognition here to see what is going on. So I know that I've reached a threshold of quality with my content at a certain point to be able to know that instead of going daily to get 100K in a year, I only need to upload roughly 3 times a week, roughly 150 videos. So it's pattern recognition. Now, am I telling you that you have to upload 3 times a week on your channel? No. If you think that, you're missing the entire point. The entire point is to use your YouTube analytics the way I use my YouTube analytics to identify patterns of behavior in the audience. Primary example would be what videos will get me thousands upon thousands of subscribers. So let's look at those videos. How to get 10,000 YouTube subscribers. Passive income, 10 ways to make passive income. How to grow a YouTube channel, small YouTube problems, how to fix them. How to get your first 1,000 subscribers. Stop trading time for money. Start affiliate marketing. So here's what you might be thinking. You might be thinking that that's as simple as, okay, Roberto, make money online videos and how to grow a YouTube channel videos, grow your channel. And you'd be wrong. What actually grew the channel was beginner content that delivers on a certain specific outcome that is very desirable. meaning it is a transformation the viewer wanted to have watching my videos, whether that's a small YouTuber who wants to get more subscribers, a freelancer who's broke and wants to start making money, someone who wants to start a career in web design, somebody who is looking at going to graphic design school and wants to know the real deal, someone who's interested in my personal journey as a testimonial of going from broke to 100K a year, someone who wants to get started in affiliate marketing and wants the goal of making $100 in passive income a day, someone who wants to get first 100 subs, someone who wants to make $1,000 a week in passive income. It's a very specific outcome. Someone who wants their first 100 subs, someone who's a small YouTuber and wants their problems validated and fixed, someone who wants 10,000 subscribers. So again, this is all the way up to 2019. So at this point, what you could realize or divine from my content analytics, even going through some of these videos that get over 1,000 subscribers from them, what is the desired outcome and goal? It's some kind of change. Even buying a video editing laptop is a change that you want to make. You want to be a better video editor and you have a specific budget. Wanting to be able to make passive income, wanting to grow subscribers, wanting to start freelancing to make money. These are things that someone wants to do, being able to color grade. They want to be able to do it. They're not currently able to do it. They want to change, and my video offers the transformation. So my video offers very obvious, very specific value, and that's what ultimately drives the view. And because they were satisfied and felt empowered to make the transformation, and they wanted more advice from me because I proved myself to them, that's what made them subscribe. So you have to think about this. Think about it rationally. Think about it logically. What is a reason for someone to subscribe to you? And what is it that you're delivering on? And what promise are you fulfilling? What promise is made in your video? And did you deliver on it by the end of the video? That's what turns someone from a viewer into a subscriber. So Aaron Money Mindset says, appreciate everything you've done and have you supported me in my growth and my channels. Thanks, Roberto. Thank you. Appreciate you. We've also got a massive super chat from Devin Canup. Thank you so much, Devin. I bought your membership back in 2018. Now we do over 100K a month from YouTube. Thank you for your advice and inspiration. I couldn't have asked for a better testimonial than Devin Canup with that one. Appreciate you, man. I'm so happy to hear that. That's actually, as you already know, a big goal of mine is to get more people to that income level and to that subscriber count level. So really appreciate it. Devin, I know it's not your main channel, where that's going and everything like that. But would love to follow up with you at some point about that. Let's talk. So appreciate you. And yes, also I appreciate y'all. I know some of y'all aren't always commenting from your main channels, but I appreciate y'all. Berto's mindset helped me as well. Yeah, I hope the mindset helps, but I also hope the practical information helps. Oh, Smart Bunny Bro is over 80K subs listening to me and is on the road to 100K. Yeah. Smart Money Bro, if we do a coaching call, we're pretty sure we can get you over the hump. Maybe not by this year, but definitely by first quarter of next year, probably. So, consider that. That's definitely on the table. Also, you probably want to get up with me before the end of the year, before I have to raise my prices. Okay, so where were we? Yes. What you want to do is you want to go into your analytics, and you don't want to just identify the video titles and thumbnails that got you over 1,000 subscribers. Or again, if you're smaller and you're still struggling, something that got you a couple hundred subscribers. What you want to do is you want to identify that, but you want to identify what is the reason that video drove a subscriber. What did they feel? What did they want? You want to look heavily at your comments. The other thing that turns viewers into commenters, by the way, into subscribers, is commenting back. Because back in the day, I replied to every comment. Now I get too many comments now to do that. I try very hard. The food boat says you have a coaching call that you need to reschedule. Yeah, we can reschedule it. No worries. We can definitely reschedule it. The main thing is just to not reschedule it during Vid Summit, but which is the 3rd through the 6th, but we can do it. But yeah, like the thing here is if you can identify not only those videos, but also I wanted you to see something. Some videos get less views, but churn more subscribers from those smaller amount of views, which means it converted subscribers at a higher rate. Identifying that can help you grow faster because it's not all about what gets me the most views, what gets me the most subs, but it's also what gives me the most subscribers, even if it got less views. That could be a pattern that could become very important for you to see what people resonate with more, and that could help you to focus. And then in terms of figuring out the 100 videos that you're going to make in a year or the 150 videos that you're going to make in a year, this helps you with your content pillars and with your planning. And so I felt like that's just kind of important to highlight. Let's then look at what is going on kind of with the channel these days. Let's look at the pandemic era. Um, so let's see here. Let's look at the pandemic era, shall we? So let's see. If we look at the pandemic era, we're going to go from 2020 to 2023. And I want to show you what's been happening during the pandemic era. And this will make the trajectory of the channel abundantly clear if it hasn't before. So in 2020, I'd been in the other house for at least a year, going on 2 years at that time. So I had a little bit of stability back. Um, and then the pandemic started and we were like, you know, this thing, right? And so what I do, I rebounded to 67,000 subscribers. So that was me growing by over 5,000 subscribers a month. Wasn't the same as my peak, but still in my prime. What happened in 2021? We really hit the pandemic hard in 2021. I got really depressed. And then we went to 45 videos, which is, instead of being half of the previous year, it's half of the previous year, but it's a third of the peak in terms of publishing content. And so what happened? Subscriber growth went down. Then we go 2022, 59 videos, recovering a little bit of stamina and momentum back in terms of publishing, but subscriber count not quite back where it needs to be because I lost the previous momentum. So that makes a big difference. Here we are so far. This isn't counting September here, but 28 videos before September hit, and 24K. Again, significantly less than the 150 videos we need to hit 100K subscribers as per our normal. Drastically different upload schedule than when we were doing 100 videos a year, because 100 videos a year still gave us over 60,000 subscribers. So literally about a third of the result, but also a third of the content, even on that score. Actually closer to a fourth of the content, but maybe a third or so of the subscribers. So you can definitely see the pattern with my channel. And if I make it abundantly clear by going lifetime, you'll see the difference. So if we look at the lifetime of the channel, the frequency of publishing completely dictates the trajectory and growth of the channel. It's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. It's undeniable. There's a direct linear pattern. You can see it with your own eyes in terms of the line chart here does not lie. The inflection point was, of course, 2025. We got a little bit of a data gap there, but the inflection point there shows it all. Now, again, this is much better than when I first started, when publishing 25 videos would only get me 2,000 subscribers, but on the other, but 34 gets me 26. So again, progress, obviously. And again, we eventually got to a point to where I could do more with less by a considerable amount. But again, the pattern remains. And so, why does this matter? I can tell you and I can show you like exactly why this matters. But let's get to a couple of super chats real quick. Hang on. El Jefe Reviews, my good friend. I found Roberto's content back in 2017, 2018 when I was looking for ways to make money outside of AdSense. His free videos and advice helped me and my family greatly. Looking forward to seeing you at Vid Summit. Yeah, me too, brother. Really looking forward to it. Cannot wait. Now, again, I am going to get to and address phases of YouTube to grow to 100,000, but I felt like this data is rarely seen. I wanted you to see the data with your own eyes on the journey to 100,000 subscribers from nothing with your own eyes. I thought it was very important for you to see that and to see that it took me about 2 years to get to 20,000. And then I broke through and got another, 80,000 to go to 100 on top of that. I wanted you to see with your own eyes the data in a very transparent way and what it took to accomplish that and the sheer amount of videos, but also refining the videos and figuring it out. Because then I'm gonna talk to you about how to specifically grow from zero and how to get started. We've done a couple of live streams about this, but I want to talk about YouTube in phases because there's a couple of phases that you have to go through here, and there is a great I think it's Shir Rai Hu. I think. It has to do, there's a Japanese saying, and I'm going to find it. Is it Shir Rai Yu? Or is it Shir? Give me 1 second. It's shuhari. It's shuhari. Okay. So I'm gonna walk you through this because it actually explains YouTube clearly. It's shuhari. It's a Japanese concept for learning that I want to use to explain this. Because it comes in 3 phases. So we're going to use this to break down YouTube. Shu, Ha, and Ri. Shu, learn the basics by following the teachings of one master. Imitating the work of great masters also follows in this stage. So that's Shu. Ha, start experimenting and learning from masters and integrate the learning into practice. And then Ri, the stage focuses on innovation and the ability to apply your learning to a variety of situations. So Shu, Ha, Ri. And we can apply this to YouTube. Okay. So the Shu phase of YouTube is learning how to basically do the very beginner level stuff of YouTube, which is learning how to even understand titles, thumbnails, upload schedule, how to be consistent, camera gears, what gear you need in order to get started, basic camera settings, budget gear, audio, lighting, how to even just make your content in the first place, how to read your analytics in the first place, how to navigate the YouTube systems, how to set up and upload and schedule it, how to set up a live stream, how to do a YouTube short. These are the very, very beginner basics. This is what myself and most YouTube educators teach the majority of on our channel, but I'm trying to teach you more than just that. I also teach you what it is that you can learn from top YouTubers, which is why we analyze them. We analyze their data. We're going to be doing more with that. Something I'm going to do for the members of the channel, as well as the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group, is I'm going to be releasing a series called Creator Case Studies, where we're going to actually analyze the YouTube channels of top YouTubers, but we're also going to analyze 50 of the channels that I've coached to over 100K subscribers, or that I've worked with that are over 100K subscribers. Some of them over 1 million subscribers. So we're going to review 50 of my most successful coaching clients of all time. And we're going to also review, ideally, the series is 100 case studies when I'm done with it. But we're going to literally have me review and dissect and teach you things about not only 50 of my clients, but also 50 of the top YouTubers of all time across different niches. And that my hope is that by doing this case study series, that there's more of learning from other masters of the craft and understanding them and what we can learn from them and what is allowed to be imitated. Because what we're not going to do is we're not going to copy and rip people off, but we are going to learn from them and learn technique from them and learn tactics from them and say, how do we implement that to ourselves? Okay. So that's kind of the first phase of YouTube, which is called SHU. It's my belief personally that for creators, the SHU phase of learning YouTube is probably 1 to 3 years, depending on how much time you have on your hands. If you work a 9 to 5 job, or you have kids, you have any of that going on, it's going to be 3 to 5 years for the SHU phase of really understanding and learning YouTube, unless you have some way to concentrate down a lot of that effort, because it's going to be a little rough to put out content and study and learn more about content creation itself and go to work and run a household and manage your kids. That's a lot. So you have a minimal amount of time for both education and execution when it comes to content creation. And this is the phase, by the way, most people never leave, because the reality of being a part-time YouTuber, a working class YouTuber, is that y'all only end up with like what, 15 to 20 hours of free time a week to make content. In the chat, let me know, and in the comments, let me know how much free time a week do you actually have to make your content in the first place? Because if you have a minimal amount of content and you feel like you're struggling to grow, if you have a minimal amount of time to make content and you feel like you're struggling to grow, I want to make this painfully clear. It is because you have a minimum amount of time. If you're looking at why do some YouTubers grow faster, they have a specific advantage. One, haven't you all noticed that the majority of YouTubers who grow fastest are people in their teens and 20s? Have any of you all noticed that? And it's important. Who do you think has the greater chance of growing a YouTube channel fast? Somebody who's 20, not married, has no kids, can drop out of college, or someone who has to pay rent, has a full-time job, a relationship, might have kids or kids on the way, and is 30? Who in that situation has the best chance of growing a YouTube channel fast? The 20-year-old with no responsibility, or the 30-year-old with all the responsibility in the world? Who has the better chance of growing a YouTube channel? 20-year-old or 30-year-old? None of that's supposed to be discouraging, by the way. It's supposed to put it in perspective that there's a difference between someone who has an abundance of time and an abundance of energy versus someone who has a limited, finite amount of time and scarce energy to commit to something. Something that can't even be their number one, number 2, or number 3 priority? Most of you in the chat, you're over 30, and we all know that YouTube is your number 4 or number 5 priority. If you're someone who's 20, it gets to be your number 1 or number 2. Big difference. Big difference. So a lot of you are saying 10 hours free a week, 2.5 hours a night now. Full-time salesman, very hard to change gears and get into creative mode. Smart Money Bro is at 80K subs, but he's got 30 to 40 hours a week, lots of time. His kids are grown. Congratulations. 35 hours a week, 24 hours a week. Now you started working. Realistically, 5 hours a week. That's rough. That's rough. Yep. So again, that perspective, the 20-year-old is usually going to have more time. The 30-year-old has financial impact to make a difference. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Because while the 30-year-old might be making more money, they have more responsibilities, they have to spend that money. And sometimes that money is not always discretionary spending. If they're in a relationship, that has to be a real conversation with their significant other. So there may not be all this abundance of resource to deploy against YouTube just because they're older and they theoretically have more money. That's only theoretically. Most people are 30s. When they make extra money, it's not going to YouTube. It's going to bill payments, going to credit card payments, going to something for the kids, going to student loans, trying to get ahead, going into an emergency savings. In theory, it's like it's only theoretical that the 30-year-old has more money to throw into YouTube than a 20-something, because the 20-something, if they're living at home with their parents rent-free, they're the one with more disposable income, even with a regular crappy 9-to-5 job. Even with a crappy 9-to-5 job, even if they only work 10, 20 hours a week, think about it. If a 20-year-old is working for $15 an hour and it's 10 hours a week even, and they still are putting 40, 50 hours grind into YouTube, they might be making some money from AdSense on top of that. So even though they're making probably less than $1,000 in a month, they're living at home. They get to put all of that into growing their YouTube channel. And realistically, how much do they need? Depending on the content they're making, not a lot. So you have to really consider that. The family dynamics of content creation do matter. And to another point here, the 20-something-year-old is also deeply embedded into the fabric of social media. So they're also socially and mentally accustomed to the world of the internet in another way that might give them an advantage. Now, I'm not saying that 30-something-year-old creators like the rest of us here don't have some advantages. We might. But I do want to make a point that the time difference, the time commitment, and the energy commitment, because again, the young people also have the stamina issue. They have the stamina advantage. You get older, that goes away. So there is a trade-off there, and it does matter realistically in terms of the capacity that one needs to be able to put into this and grow a channel and to last and to do it faster. So the thing is, we can do it more sustainably in some cases, to be honest with you. If we succeed and we're older in our 30s, like again, I'm 39 now. If you succeed at YouTube in your late 20s and in your 30s, there's a chance that your success can outlast your younger counterparts because you are less vulnerable to making certain mistakes that come with immaturity, vanity, ego, less vulnerable to cancel culture in many ways, so on and so forth. So the thing is, there is some benefit to maturity and wisdom of being an older content creator. And so, to Louise's point, yes, young people have no responsibilities, but we also have the benefit of maturity and wisdom. So older and wiser. Now, what happens along the way, because I've shown you this and I've shown you like also look at the absurd amount of videos I had to publish to get here. This is the amount of videos I had to publish. And I showed you Social Blade earlier. So the thing is, the big deal here and why I brought up the time and energy thing is consistency, because you saw it yourself. As my, channel publishing rate, if you look at my rate of publishing, which is the green here, to my subscriber growth, the thing is, the more consistently I publish, the more I grow consistently as well. A decline in publishing precipitates a decline in growth. It is what it is. Decline in publishing, decline in growth. That is just the trajectory of what my channel has done. Now, there are people who, to some degree, escape that, but it's more rare than YouTubers let on. We see a lot of outliers, we see a lot of unicorns, but publishing more is the norm for consistency and continuity of your growth. My recommendation for most creators is to really consider what would be healthy and sustainable for their lifestyle. Most of you saying that you only have 10 to 20 hours a week to make videos, your best bet is to continue to publish one video a week, but to spend more time learning the things that will make you faster at making a video. And so, what does that look like? What does that look like? Well, again, I actually talk about this, and this is a way to accelerate your phase of what we talked about when it comes to shuhari. Shuhari, again, the Japanese methodology for learning. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is truly ready, the teacher will disappear. That's a saying. So it's a way about thinking about how to learn and master technique and the three stages of acquiring knowledge. So the three stages of acquiring knowledge, like we said, are shu, ha, and ri. So in your stage of acquiring knowledge, the first step is to learn the basics and following the teachings of one master. Now, what I have and what I teach with Awesome Creator Academy is we also have published our 12-week plan to becoming a superior YouTube creator. And so what this basically flows through is a fast track training regime to become better. Now, you could take this and accelerate to 12 weeks, or you could theoretically drag it out over 12 months. It's up to you in terms of pacing yourself. But for people with limited time who want to improve fast, we broke down what I would normally say is a year of learning into 12 weeks of learning. So, identifying your audience avatar. It took me months actually to be able to start to really understand who my audience was, and it kept changing for me. It kept changing for me, and that made a big difference. And so, to some degree, there is a benefit to understanding this faster and understanding who your audience is. So, if you can focus on identifying your audience avatar, who they really are, what they really value, that can be powerful. Then you can niche down to your community and you can get much more precise. These 2 weeks are really about refining and understanding who the audience is in a very specific way that allows you to be consistent, because only by really accomplishing that will it matter to become a master storyteller, because you have to learn to read the room and you have to be able to understand the audience. Oh, that's really impressive, the food boat. Congratulations on that. So, things we can do to become a master of storytelling, is we can learn more by understanding storytelling and watching great storytelling content, but also understanding things like the hero's journey from Joseph Campbell. There's a great book called Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath. So you can definitely check that out. And this really, with becoming a master storyteller, comes down to understanding how to script and structure our videos properly. For me, becoming a master storyteller, I had to master my cadence and my presentation style and learn. For me, it was less about scripting because I'm not very good at scripting. I had to learn how to be a storyteller in terms of, for me, because I'm not good at scripting, by both outlining but also learning the art of public speaking and conversational teaching. You may notice I've moved to live streaming. Why? Because I can deliver value unscripted. And I did that by mastering the capacity for storytelling, conversation, analogies, and relatability, and learning to read the room and read my audience cold. That was not easy to do. That took me a very long time. Am I suggesting that you can do it in a week out of 12 weeks? No, but you can certainly make progress on it and be vastly better by focusing on it for 1 week than you were if you didn't. So again, this is about improvement, and this is about incremental improvement. Another Japanese concept called Kaizen, improving a little bit every day. So enhancing your video editing skills. Enhancing your video editing skills would probably be the thing that like most dramatically affects your YouTube journey, because editing fast is what allowed me to be daily. And I'm not saying to go daily, but daily was useful to me because it taught me to edit fast. And so I was able to edit ahead of time. I was able to edit 3 videos and schedule them to release for a single day, edit another 3 videos. I was able to be a week ahead. I was able to be a week ahead of my content. Why was I a week ahead of my content? All of my content was how-to content, which means it was evergreen. No time was going to really affect it right away and make it irrelevant that quickly. It would take weeks, if not months, if not years to be irrelevant. So that was very helpful to me. Photoshop and learning eye-catching thumbnails. If you can do that and you can take less time to make your thumbnails, make them in advance, make templates for them, do A/B testing, all these things, like that can help considerably with video performance, but also speed of getting out and publishing videos. Massive advantage to be had in doing that. Organizing and scheduling. This will make you faster too. If you do even these first couple of weeks, within these first couple of weeks of spending some dedicated time on this, all of a sudden, 20 hours of work will become 10 hours of work. So you'll be twice as fast. When you become twice as fast, you can get out twice as many videos or make them almost twice as good. Both of those things matter. So getting organized. Diving into sound design. This is something that can definitely help with retention rates on your videos if you can do it. Same for motion graphics. Both of those will help you in improving your skills in making better content and increasing retention rates and watch time. Definitely important for getting monetized. So that can be very powerful. Deciphering YouTube analytics. I've done massive, massive deep dives into analytics and learning how to read them properly that you can watch here on the channel. And so that can be very good for you. Luis, you want to know what program is good for thumbnails? I recommend Photoshop, and I've done full trainings on here. But for those of you who Photoshop is intimidating for, you can also learn Canva. In fact, actually, something we'll be releasing eventually. My co-instructor, Andy Rivera, she's a great graphic designer herself. She put together a Canva for Creators course that's coming out soon. We'll announce it soon, but we're selling that through Awesome Creator Academy. It's her project, and I also played a hand in it and helped with it, but she's tremendous, and she is the Canva master. I'm more of a Photoshop guy, even though I'm Canva competent, but yeah. The Belief Hero asks, do we get all this with Awesome Creator Academy? Yes, and more. Yes, and more. Absolutely. That's kind of the point. Luis, you use Adobe Express? Yes, Adobe Express is good to use, and that's also comparable to Canva. More importantly, if you buy any templates from me, you can actually edit them with Adobe Express, even though they're Photoshop files. And so, yes, you can edit Photoshop files for free in Adobe Express. So very useful. So what else do we have to cover? Okay, master your camera and equipment. Camera and equipment. This will also make you faster at making videos. This is the kind of thing that turns 20 hours a week into 10 hours a week very quickly. It means you get to make either twice as good content or twice as much of it. Eventually, if you get very fast, you can do both. And then things really take off. At least that's what was great for me. Brand and aesthetic optimization. This one becomes important because there are ways that your overall branding in your banner, as much as people don't think it's important, it can be very important. I've coached a lot of gamers, and one of the things is some games have creator codes where you get affiliate commissions when people use your code in the game, in the store for the game. And being able to have a really good banner that can promote your creator code can be very valuable. Same thing for your community tab. Branding and aesthetics also matter because it makes your stuff more recognizable, which means people click for you more often and they recognize you faster, can help you stand out, gives you a massive edge. Also can start to make your content a little bit harder to duplicate. So that's important. That's very powerful, and that can be something that very much helps you. Idea generation refinement. This is the big one that allowed me to be able to start to get more subscribers with less videos. Was my ideas were getting better and better because I also understood my audience. I was able to cater to them, and I kept being able to refine this process. And this is what's helped me start getting from videos that could get 1,000 subscribers a video to videos that could get 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 subscribers per video. And that was massively important for me to be able to understand. And this is something that you will always need to work on. That's why Kaizen is important. Working on improving every single day to get just a little bit better. So, Ujo, what time are the live coaching calls held in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group? In the Pro Group membership for Awesome Creator Academy, we do the live calls 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Unless I'm traveling, then we'll fudge it around. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we do Awesome Creator Academy. And those are calls with myself, Andy Rivera. She's great. You guys will love her. And anybody else who's in our group. And we have groups, we have people in the pro group of all levels. We have everything from beginners, people with 10,000. We have some creators with 700, 800,000 subscribers. There's a lot going on in the pro group, and we address all levels and basically all aspects of the journey of content creation. I'm very proud of what we've been able to do there. And I'm very proud of our creators. We've got a lot of people that have grown to 10K, celebrating those milestones. We've got a lot of people who've grown to over 100K. And this is where a lot of my case studies are coming from. This is also where my great Trustpilot reviews are coming from. In fact, we have another creator that I coached to help get to 100,000 subscribers sent me a copy of her play button. We're going to start mounting these on a wall. I'm going to have a wall of play buttons like my friend and mentor, Daryl Eves here. You get a letter from YouTube corporate here when you get one of these, and then you get play button award. Mine's over there in the back on the shelf. Plus, I have the original play button award. It was an older design, so I have both of the play button designs because I upgraded to that. Eventually, for my 2 team members, I'm going to order more copies of my play button, but we're going to have some of my coaching clients who are willing to send me one of these. We're going to collect them, and then we're going to put together kind of a little bit of a wall, kind of a shrine to the creators that I've coached successfully to 100K, and we'd like to grow that. But a couple of the creators have agreed to send me copies of their play button. You know, I cover the shipping. And so that's going to be something to really look forward to when we have this, like, you know, collection of more of these play buttons. And for me, it's also a good reminder sometimes to have the impact that I've made something visible, so that, like, it's a reminder that it makes a difference and that it's changing people's career, it's changing people's life for the better. And it's not just a vanity thing. It's not just a marketing thing. Sometimes it's really hard sometimes to remember that you're doing this for a reason, and that it's not just things you're seeing and people are seeing through the screen. The other thing that really helps me is the public speaking, because then when I get to see creators in person and hear their stories and see the transformation, and I get to see them shake their hand in person, give them a hug, whatever, listen to their story, it makes a difference, because it reminds me that there is someone that's a human being on the other side of the screen that's genuinely getting that value and whose life is being changed. And it's just kind of like what you might call a totem, or a memento, but a memento doesn't quite do it. So it's a symbol, it's a totem. It's a way to not only celebrate the shared success, but a reminder of purpose, because purpose and vision become the foundation of, like, everything that we do in order to help us achieve our goals. A lot of times we get distracted by other things, like whether it's a negative comment or something like that, or you're having a bad month or a down month, or something happens in your life. You need things around you physically that can stand as a testament and a symbol to what you're trying to achieve and trying to accomplish. And, you know, for me, because my goal is largely centered around helping other people, having the visible impact of that can be a powerful reminder. So Midnight Tail has a question. How come my watch hours and public watch hours aren't the same? My public watch hours are much less. It depends. It depends on the delay in the reporting and the data metrics. So that could be a reason. Yeah, it changed the play button or a few times. I think it's only changed it twice, I think. I think it's only changed the design twice. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean that's some of the basics that you'd have to look at when it comes to this concept in terms of this 12-week plan that we can. And the reason behind this is because it's part of what we talked about with shuhari. Okay. So the basics. And those 12 weeks in itself represent the basics. I'm not saying you will get through them in 12 weeks. For a lot of people, because they have no outline, it takes them years. With an outline for it, though, you might be able to master the basics of being a YouTuber in 1 year. And if that foundational year can be spent doing that, which is basically how it worked for me, by the way, then you can do well in that first year and you can do something that 90% of content creators never do: clear 10,000 subscribers, which I did within about 11 months of serious work and commitment between the summer of 2013 and 2014. Now, for me, year two was very interesting. And that's the real experimental phase from me, is in year two, where I doubled down. And so in year two, I started experimenting a lot more. And that's where going into daily content really started to pop off for me. And so that was powerful because I was experimenting more, because with daily content, I was able to make more types of content, different types of formats. My graphic design videos were not the same as my Tech Tuesday videos where I was talking about different tech, and they weren't the same as my Wednesday videos that focused on cameras, photography, and filmmaking. Those weren't the same as my Thursday videos where I did a software tutorial of some kind, because that's a completely different format. Think about it. I was doing product reviews on Tuesdays and software tutorials on Thursdays. Those are radically different formats. Then I was doing how-to talking head or listicle videos on Mondays. Not quite the same. Then I was doing process videos on Wednesday. Not quite the same. And then social media growth videos on Fridays, which was kind of sort of the same. And then on the weekends, ironically, on the weekends, you know what I was doing on the weekends when I was doing daily? I was live streaming on Sundays. And on Saturdays, I was doing reaction videos and reviews of movies and television shows that I was watching at the time. Which means, if you look at it, back in the day, back in my day, back in the olden days, there was this period of time where I massively experimented on my channel, which I'm not telling you to go this far, by the way, but I benefited from massively experimenting. This is the ha in shu ha ri. I was experimenting, learning from other masters, and integrating that learning into practice by trying different formats. So I had formats where I was doing product reviews and had to get a lot of B-roll for that for the Tech Tuesday videos. Screen recorded tutorial videos for Thursdays, radically different format. Reaction videos on the weekend. And then stream of consciousness vlogging on Sundays. And then on Mondays and Fridays, I was doing more how-to videos. So if you look at it from that perspective, how many formats was I doing? I was doing 2 talking head listicle formats, a live format, a reaction format, a screen recording format, and then a format heavily focused on B-roll, different angles, and top down. So I was doing like 5 or 6 different styles of videos for about 2 years of experimentation and growth. And I did grow from it, and I did learn from it, more importantly. So I learned a lot about making content. I learned a lot about my audience, and I learned different techniques from different content creators that I was a fan of and that were growing at the time. And so then that helped me. And there were people I aspired to say, that's the standard of quality that I want. How do I make the standard of quality? Not how do I copy that creator, but how do I get as good as that creator? And what's my version of doing that thing? And how can I get there? So then there was my final evolution that got me to 100,000 subscribers in 2016. This is the re in shuhari. Okay. So in this stage, in that evolution, which continues today, by the way, I focused on innovation and the ability to apply everything I learned to a variety of situations and then start to make it more of my own. This is where I started to really shape and develop my own voice, my own identity, and my own format a lot more. And so in 2016, that would be the thing that would get me to getting 10,000 subscribers every single month and growing to 100,000 subscribers. And then from there, all the way up until the end of 2018, growing by 100,000 subscribers every month. And doing it with less videos, ironically, at the time. So you see, like, this was incredibly powerful. I mean, look here. In August of 2018, 16,000 subscribers, 21 videos published. And again, it was averaging almost 10,000, 8,000, 10,000, whatever. I was growing significantly during this time period. I mean, this is like tremendous growth here. Now, again, my publishing frequency clearly is the thing that has the most impact on growth at any given time. But like, this is how I slow and steady built it up. And I had my peaks, very few valleys, but the valleys would come when I uploaded less and less and less. But if you look at me uploading again 7 videos in January of 2021, after uploading 7 videos in December, 5, like where I was consistent here at the end of the year sprint, came back month after month, hitting with videos, not missing weeks. That's when in 2020 and like the end or mid of 2020 and 2021, I was able to start to get back as if it was getting close to be able to hit 10,000 subscribers a month again. But when the consistency dipped, look at the consistency dip. That's what happens. The minute I stopped doing that, minute I stopped publishing more videos, we dip. But now again, I always kept growing, but that's when we dip. Look at January even of 2023. 5 uploads, almost 5,000 subscribers. Look at August, 3 uploads, 4,000 subscribers. Again, one of them really, really hit. So again, it just depends on what I'm making and how it hits. Now in September, we're doing more live streaming than regular videos, and it hasn't been as consistent as I would like. But again, still kind of up there, probably hit 3-4K extra subs for September before it's all said and done. But again, you see the point here. My publishing frequency directly impacted everything. And the more double-digit uploads I have in a month, the better off I am. And I know that. So again, I was able to figure out I was able to figure out innovating for my situation, and I'm still innovating for my situation. Even now, I'm innovating by saying, hey, I will do live streams as my primary format. I will still upload regular videos. The plan is to still upload 1 to 2 regular videos a week if possible, but to go more to these live streams 2 to 3 times a week. So That was my innovation at this point because I found a data point that could support it. So, Brianne, hey, how's it going? Is there a specific format of all the ones you mentioned, talking head, stream, screen recordings, etc., do you think did the best if you're getting started, or should we mix it all up too? So it depends on your audience. So the good news about this, I can tell you, from having done all these different formats, it depends on your audience and it depends on what plays to your strengths. Because now, if we look at my channel now, I'll show you some data that almost nobody shares in general. If I show you my data now, look at, or actually, let's look at for 2023. So I want you to look at this. I'll show you here. So with regard to my data, my subscribers from my live streams is equal to my live streams from my videos. Now, I never post shorts hardly, so that's not relevant. If I was posting shorts, maybe this number would be different. Who knows? Maybe I'd have triple the subs. Who knows? But what I can tell you is I've done an equal amount of videos to an equal amount of live streams. And guess what? Oh, look, the results are even. So for me, but I'm a public speaker, mind you, my live streams do as well as a format as my regular videos. The videos that I've published that have been getting those subscribers have been, for me, talking head videos. Tutorial videos still do good for me. Screen recording tutorial videos still do good for me. I've worked on a format where I combine them with green screen now when I want to make that effort. So it just depends. And you have to know your audience. So you have to study your audience. You have to also look at the data around your audience and what they respond to. I found that a lot of you actually respond to my live streams and that my live streams get me a lot of views, evergreen content, and that my ad revenue dramatically increased with my live streaming. So for me, I figured out that, okay, if I balance out live streaming and I do it as much or more than regular videos, that's actually what's going to work out very well for me. Regular videos are for things where I can do certain formats. For me, it's my listicle formats. It's 5 tips, 15 tips, how to. For me, that's going to be the easiest thing for me to make, the fastest thing for me to edit, and going to get me the best results in views, subscribers, and revenue. So when I do publish videos, for me, those are the ones. In terms of evergreen videos that will get me momentum indefinitely and that serve my audience, the tutorial videos and screen recordings actually serve my audience because here's the thing. A lot of you have been asking for it. A lot of you say, Roberto, I need an updated video to teach me Premiere Pro for 2023. Teach me the basics. Teach me how to be a better video editor. Your other videos are older. They're great, but that's not what the interface is today. Do more Premiere Pro stuff. I'm like, okay, fine. My green screen video for Premiere Pro, it's almost to 60,000 views. There is a need and a demand with my audience to do tutorial videos, so I will be doing them. How often will depend on my availability, but I will be doing screen recorded tutorial videos again. A lot of you want me to cover camera basics for you, but also budget camera gear, budget lights, budget microphones, and do it in a succinct video that can help you buy the right thing. Hey, I love Amazon affiliate revenue. I need to make those videos for you. So I've got to bring back some version of Tech Tuesdays, even if I don't upload it on Tuesday. I've got to do it. I've got to do it because it will help a beginning creator. It'll help a beginning creator for me to do that. So the thing is, I have to bring that back. Some of you are asking, hey, what am I using to switch up my cameras? It's an ATEM Mini. By the way, it's an ATEM Mini that I'm using, hardware switcher. But again, live streaming. Y'all want live streaming gear. Y'all want to know how to do a great live streaming setup? I've promised a desk tour forever. So I've got to make one. I've got to make that video. I have to do it. So a lot of you want budget gear, budget lights. So guess what? I have to bring back literally. I don't know that the publishing date will be Tuesday and Thursday. It certainly won't be every Tuesday and Thursday because I'm just not there yet. But a lot of you want me to bring back that old school format I had where like I would do Tech Tuesdays and show you things you can buy that will improve your content's quality if you buy it, which I need to do that again. Maybe it's not every Tuesday though, but maybe it's once in a while. And then a lot of you, and it won't always perform, and I get that, but there are people who like it. And then it is necessary, in my opinion. And then there are a lot of you who want videos on how to use your software better. You want to know in detail and see me do it besides doing it in a live stream, how to make a YouTube thumbnail, how to edit a vlog, how to edit a tech video. And so the thing is, for the tutorial stuff, I also know that I can help you with both the shoe and ha point of it, where what if I teach you and you learn from me how to mimic other masters? What if I teach you how to make a video that is a tech review video, and I show you the techniques of 3 of the best tech reviewers in YouTube: Marquez Brownlee, Mr. Who's the Boss, and Justine. What if I show you the video techniques that these 3 creators are using? That would be a really good tech video, wouldn't it? Okay. What if I show you how to edit your videos and how to make videos with the same effects, and I show you how Mr. Beast makes his videos? Like, what if I showed you how Mr. Beast makes his videos? You shouldn't go out and make copycat Mr. Beast videos, and you can't afford to. But if you knew the techniques he was using, wouldn't that be helpful to some of you to know how to use those same techniques? So again, some of that would be a how-to video and teach you production. Some of that would be an editing video and teach you the techniques. So you can do text like Mr. Beast, or you could do transitions like Mr. Beast. So, and the thing is, I know I'd get clicks because it's like, well, don't you want to know the techniques of the biggest YouTubers? So there you go. And I know that that's like a pretty good video series to make. You want to know some of the things like from these people. Okay, I can tell you how they work. Excuse me. You know, there are things I can do in terms of teaching you advanced thumbnail design. Advanced thumbnail design would not just be a Photoshop video. I would show you Photoshop techniques, but what do I have to do? I actually have to show you photography techniques, because all the biggest YouTubers, the secret is they're using photography for their thumbnails now. So if I show you the behind the scenes of that and you realize, okay, to make better thumbnails, I might need a good camera. And at bare minimum, I need somebody to hold a camera and help me, and I need to learn posing and staging. Then, okay, I can use that with the Photoshop techniques that Roberto's teaching. Okay, now I can make high quality, advanced YouTube thumbnails. Got it. Okay, cool. So there are things. If I did that, Hayden would get mad. Now, Hayden Hiller-Smith wouldn't get mad. One, he loves this kind of stuff. And then two, he and I have different approaches and styles to it, because the thing is, I wouldn't focus on the editing only. I would actually look at how to film like that so that we can edit less. So it'd be a little bit more of a comprehensive. And then if I did do something that's purely editing, I'm only going to teach one technique at a time, which means I'll just teach you how to do animations like Mr. Beast or something. So again, me and Hayden, very different tutorial creators, very different. And my approach would be very different. He's more of a storytelling tutorial person. I'm more of a technician. And that's no, by the way, that's not a disrespect to him. Hayden's a tremendous technician. I just mean I'm a technician in terms of how I explain things. I don't do storytelling in my tutorials. I'm not Peter McKinnon. I'm not Hayden Hiller-Smith. I could make the extra effort to do that storytelling. I just am not really bad. I don't learn that way, so I don't teach that way. I don't learn that way, so I don't teach that way. Me, what I need is I need a procedural. I'm a technician. I need a procedural. I need a step-by-step. I need you to how to do this in 6 simple steps. How to do this in 6 simple steps. That's how I learn. That's the only way that I really like give me the 6 simple steps so that I can do them, so that I can remember them, so that I can get through the technique. Storytelling doesn't work to teach me. Not everybody's the same. Storytelling is the most overused buzzword in YouTube right now, and I get it, and storytelling is important. I'm not telling you it's not. I'm telling you, though, personally, I can't learn that way. I can't learn that way. I need a procedural. So that's how I teach. And I'm only teaching for that kind of thing. I'm teaching the people who are more like me. So that's who I'm speaking to, because that's the people who can learn it the way I need to learn it. We're the same mindset, we're the same frequency, and that's all I really care about. Because for everyone else, they have someone who can teach them the way that they best learn. Is my hat dented? Hmm. Is my hat dented? Am I gonna have to order another one, or am I gonna have to swap this hat out? Hmm. I might be able to take it to the leather shop and see. It'd suck if this hat's dented. I have another one though. I'll order another one. Yeah, some audiences work for storytelling. It's different for every niche, by the way. It's different for every niche. For my stuff, there are also people who are going hard on the storytelling aspect of creator economy stuff. So that's fine, and I leave it to them. Not everybody needs to do storytelling just because some other people are doing it. Yeah, I get a sponsor for the hat. Um, Not everybody needs to become this like tremendous storytelling focused channel. If everybody does the same thing, YouTube will get boring, and some of you are already complaining that it is. So keep that in mind. My channel was largely in the beginning a tutorial channel, which means it was a faceless channel. I wasn't showing my face in my tutorials. If you watch some of my early Photoshop stuff, I wasn't showing my face. Faceless channels are fine. John Michael Haas says, I'm in middle school health education teacher. Do you think posting 5 to 10 minutes about middle school health topics would be an effective strategy to build a channel? Michael, do you, just because you're in middle school health education, is that the channel you really want to make? What you need to think about is the channel you want to make and what's your goal. Are you trying to make a channel that gets to 100,000 subscribers? Are you trying to make a channel that produces a full-time income? What's the goal for your channel? Are you trying to help other teachers? Like, you have to figure out a why when it comes to your channel. And this is important, actually. This is a really good point. So, a lot of you really need something else we do like in the academy, which is we teach different frameworks, right? And so, one of the frameworks I talk about constantly is the clarity framework. And the reason I bring this up is um, there's a lot in here, but a big part of it is figuring out your audience, your core values, and a lot of this really it focuses around the dynamic of a promise you want to make to your audience and what your content is going to be about. And a lot of you do not have clarity. A lot of you don't know the why behind your channel. You don't know who it's for. You don't know what you're going to make. You don't know why people should watch and subscribe. You don't know really much of anything about it. You don't know who the audience is. You don't know what your promise is to them. You don't know why they should subscribe. You don't know when you're going to publish, and you don't know where to find information to understand your audience better. And so that is a lot of pondering to do at the very beginning to figure out your channel. You also have to consider, how does doing this content serve the audience, but also how does it serve me realistically? How do you make money doing this? How do you become a full-time content creator doing this? If that's the goal, if that's the goal. And a lot of people don't think this through, and then they find themselves stuck in a channel that doesn't serve them, and then they decide they want to code switch and pivot because they understand themselves a little better. And then they realize, oh wait, I have a bunch of people watching and subscribing for one thing, and now I'm going to go do another. It doesn't work very well most of the time. So this is a problem, and this is how channels die. It's better to try your best. You will not always get it right, but it's best to try to figure it out from the beginning, what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, who it's going to serve, and how you're going to execute it. And if you can figure that out, it's a lot better. I don't know that a middle school health education channel has a lot of viability in YouTube. I don't even know that's something you want to do for 10 years. So I think you have to figure out the why. Who are you trying to help and why? When do I know it's profitable for me to get on a coaching call? If you have a monetized channel, then it would be worthwhile because you have a pathway to making the money back. I frankly, unless someone has a business, don't recommend that people do coaching or courses if they're not at least monetized. or making really good money at their job. And part of the reason for that is just I want to ensure that people have a pathway reasonably to getting a return on their investment. If you're not already monetized, you should probably just keep using free content from me and other people, um, because it's the most likely way, um, to have a pathway to profitability. So that is what I would tell you. I've just updated the description of this video. So in the description of this video now, you should have links to the Academy Pro group. There's also a coupon expiring at the end of the month if you want the YouTube Starter Kit. We also have, for those of you who can't afford the YouTube Starter Kit, even with that massive, massive discount, um, we have the Creator Starter Pack, which you can get. And I'll link to that here. I'll drop the link in the comments for you as well. So the Creator Starter Pack is something you can buy right now that gives you a little bit of help with thumbnails, gives you some live streaming template stuff, gives you a 2-page media kit, all for $9.99. It's a sampler basically, so that if you ever want to get other things from us, like the YouTube Starter Kit or the Brand Deal Starter Kit, you kind of have a sense of how we over deliver in value. So you can definitely check out and get the Creator Starter Pack there. We also have something for those of you who want to do better with idea generation and with creating titles for your YouTube videos. You need an advanced prompt to do that, or you're trying to figure out some things with your making a content calendar. You need other little productivity hacks. We have another thing called Creator Prompts that is only $9.99. I'm going to link to that here as well. I'm going to update and drop that in the description. And so what that is that you can use the free or paid version of ChatGPT with that. And what that does is we've made over 200 different creator prompts for productivity. And it has a lot of different tasks for that. So that's 200 plus creator prompts for ChatGPT. And that's only $9.99 as well. So you can get either of those. Those are our cheap entry level products to give you a taste of what we have to offer. And then we have other great things like the YouTube Starter Kit, Brand Deal Starter Kit, that sort of thing. We also have the Academy membership, that is the pro group. And we do 2 weekly group coaching calls a week, Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Academy Pro Group members get access to literally all of our digital products and also all future courses. So keep that in mind as well. So Tom says, my content is based around football, soccer, any Americans. I mainly vlog the games at the moment which are doing well. Do you think that something other than football videos could grow the channel more? If you've built a football audience, Tom, you need to expand in the vertical of football content. If your audience is coming for football, you're not going to be able to keep and retain them if you switch it up on them and give them something other than football content. And there are football channels that go to 100,000 on YouTube. There are football channels that go to 1 million on YouTube. You just have to go deeper than what you're doing when it comes to football right now. You just have to go deeper with that. So there are multiple things you could be doing that they might resonate with or might reach a broader audience. But deviating from football isn't going to help you grow. Moe says, my biggest hurdle right now in making videos is writing a script. It's getting all of my thoughts on paper. Any advice? Start with an outline. Start with an outline. Start with also creating a format and structure for your videos. Then have an outline that fits that format and structure. And then it's easier to script because you're breaking it down into individual pieces and segments. We'll look into, I've heard that before. We'll look into the bonus videos and see what's up with that on the other side. If I have to, I'll just re-record them. Is a beauty podcast a good niche in YouTube as far as monetizing? Just started. It can be, depending on your approach. It can get the watch hours, but beauty is a little rough. There is things you could do with that. You might consider a beauty podcast that leans more into lifestyle or into something, and you might want to look into the niche and see who is winning there and what content you have to make, because I'm not saying there's not an audience for it, but it depends. And if you're doing it as a video podcast, you might want to consider how you're doing it and what your topics and what your format is, and see what would be successful there, and then also make sure that there is some value for the audio only audience. Oh, that's a good point. They are cracking down on health content, so even with that other niche, that might be something you need to consider. That's fair. Do I participate in the 2 weekly office hours? Yes, yes, I do. What's a good mid-level laptop to buy for content? The Samsung Galaxy Book, the Samsung Galaxy Book Pro. It's probably a good mid-level $800 laptop, and I would say that that can do it. And I believe that's what Colin and Samir use, so I would definitely recommend that. Yeah, no problem, Tom. Beauty moment. Actually, I recommend, if you're asking about niching down, watch our previous live stream replay all about that. We covered it in depth. Yeah, an M1 MacBook Pro, MacBook Air is also a good laptop to consider. It's a little pricier than the Samsung Galaxy Book at the same price, but if you're an Apple person, maybe that's worth it. In the future, I would love a health type channel, but I'm watching closely some of my favorite creators. I've coached a couple of health channels, but with YouTube's current policies, that could be a problem. With YouTube's current policies, when it comes to health content and them screening for health misinformation, that could be very difficult or have some additional challenges that other channels wouldn't have. I don't want to discourage you from starting that channel if you think it can be beneficial and it can help people, because we do need great content like that. But I also want to be upfront and honest with you that you might want to really review their healthcare misinformation and vetting policies, and you might want to look into that because yeah, that's the thing. Apparently, Best Buy is running a sale. Okay, that's cool. Full of grace and truth. Bickle says, I don't do random channel reviews. What happens is when we do channel reviews, people have to send in a certain super chat level, and then we do like a 2 to 5 minute channel review. I'm not sure when the next time I'll do that is. We have a couple of other live streams scheduled, but yeah. Hobby to CEO ask, are business startup videos a good niche? They can be if done properly or executed properly, but not many people do execute them well. Visual Effects Fundamental says, I excel at script writing, but struggle at starting my process with the title and thumbnail. Do you have any tips on starting the process correctly? Here's the thing. You don't have to start with the title and thumbnail. I know that that's a lot of people's advice, but if you have the concept in mind, right, and if you excel at script writing, then just write the damn script. And then you don't have to listen to every YouTuber about what benefits them the most. If you are a phenomenal script writer, and most YouTubers, even big YouTubers, are trash at script writing, which is why they have other people do it. They almost all have ghostwriters now. None of them write their own scripts hardly. Some of them do. Like, then don't listen to them and start with the title and thumbnail. Just because Mr. Beast does it doesn't mean you have to. Okay, just because Mr. Beast has that preference, just because I might even have that preference sometimes. Sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I start with an idea and then I might have a theoretical working title. 90% of the time, though, 80, 90% of the time, I scrap my first version of my title and then I fix it and say, you know what, I actually have a better idea for a title. Oh, this will be better. And about 30% of the time, I scrap my thumbnail idea and then I have a better thumbnail idea. So if you write scripts well, start with what you do best. If you write scripts well, start with what you do best. I'm better at Photoshop than I am at certain things. So sometimes I start with the Photoshop idea. Other times, I'm better at outlining. So I'll start with that. So, I mean, I'll do that. Sometimes I make the bloody video and I figure out the title later, to be honest with you. But just do what makes you functional and not sit there and have this paralyzing, oh, I'm not doing the YouTube process right and everything. Screw that. Do what works for you and don't hinder creativity and create friction where it doesn't exist. Along the narrow road says, would Awesome Creator Academy benefit a channel with less than 1,000 subs? Here's the thing. I believe that Awesome Creator Academy would benefit a channel basically with any sub count at this point for the way that we've done it. Between the 100 hours of training videos that you can watch on the back end, between access to all of the templates and all of the other digital products. Do I believe that would be a benefit to someone with less than 1,000 subs? Yes. Here's my problem. If your channel isn't monetized, I don't believe that you make the money you spent quickly enough in most cases. And so if you don't already have a very high paying job, I don't recommend doing that. Or a business, I don't recommend doing that. Why? Because I think a problem is for small creators is if you buy something, then small creators just have a lot of struggle if they're not full time already, or if they have a dedicated career or a family life. If you only have 10 to 20 hours a week, the reality is you probably won't show up to the office hours. And the office hours, I think, are some of the most beneficial things. So the thing is, if you can't show up to the office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, then is the other material and the do-it-yourself training stuff worth it? Yes. But do I think it's the most value out of everything we offer? I think the live office hours are the most value out of everything we offer. The access to the other things is worth it. But the fastest thing that gets you change and ROI is the group's feedback and being able to ask questions in real time and get constructive feedback and criticism on the video calls. That's why most of the time I tell everybody that I would prefer that they already at least be monetized. So that's something that, when I actually qualify people to work with me, I feel like I try to do it properly more than most coaches and most people do. And that's no disrespect to anybody. I think I go out of my way to disqualify people and say, don't give me your money, because I'm trying to make sure that people are doing it for the right reasons and that they get a good return on investment. And I have no interest in taking money from people that aren't going to make it back quickly, not because of our thing not being effective, but because realistically, they might not have the time or resources to take the most advantage of it. Awesome Creator Academy, which we have a couple of members in the chat, is beneficial the most to creators who can show up Tuesdays and Thursdays for the group sessions. That's who it benefits the most. The next most valuable thing we have is if you have no direction whatsoever in your creator journey, you benefit from the do-it-yourself training because you can get direction and it answers most of the questions in terms of not having the ability to do something. You will understand how to do it because you will have a resource that has continuity. That's the whole part of with shuhari is learning the basics by learning from one master. That's the value of material and training resources or coaching or courses, is learning the basics by following one master and then also learning from the work of the greats as they translate it to you. So that's helpful. And then because we give you bunches of digital download resources and templates that allows the experimentation to happen in theory by posting to the group and posting what you've experimented on and getting feedback that would help. I believe showing up though, and not just doing the post but coming onto the calls so you can hear it and ask questions right then and there face to face is the most beneficial. But there is the room to experiment, so there's that access. And then in terms of innovating over time and applying on your own, you need the time. Besides making your content, doing the training, showing up to the calls, you'd still need time to practice and innovate and work on this on your own, which if you don't make enough money, you can't free up enough time in many cases to do that. So that's a little bit more challenging. That's a little bit more difficult. So again, we try very hard to address all three levels of creators. But again, the people I feel benefit most are the people who can be on the calls. Thanks so much, Brienne. Brienne says, I'm a new member of the Creator Academy and I've tried to immerse myself in it entirely. After a few office hour sessions, I've never been more inspired and confident in what I do to create. Thank you so much, Brienne. I appreciate that. Yeah, like so, like that's the thing. And it's not a hard and fast rule of you have to be monetized, but I prefer it because I just do not feel as comfortable, and that there's as much to gain if you're not already monetized, because at that point I know that you will be able to have a pathway to making your money back without as much stress doing it. Marty Watson says, Hey, Roberto, I follow you on Twitter and listen to Coffee Talk sometimes. Thanks for all the tips. How significant are thumbnails in terms of non subscribers clicking on your videos versus title only? So, great question. The main job of a thumbnail is to get me or whoever else to stop scrolling in our phone so that we read the title. And then the two things then double team you and make sense from a storytelling standpoint. So that's the value of a thumbnail. The thumbnail's job is to get my attention and make me stop and pay attention. And then I have to read the title, and then that's what then determines the click. So the thing is, they are in combination. It's not about one being more valuable than the other as much as they both have a job to do and they both better do the job, because nobody here can carry the team, so to speak. So for most content, neither the title or thumbnail can carry the team. But if anything was going to carry the team in terms of a click, it's going to be the title. If anything was going to carry the team, I've seen it time and time again, it's going to be the title. But the thing is, a lot of times that title doesn't get read because that thumbnail doesn't get you to stop scrolling. So again, human behavior and psychology kind of dictate these outcomes, and that's why you got to use both. Um, Coastal Diva says, why after a year and 100 videos, my analytics can't show me when my audience is on YouTube? Says not enough data. That's a great question. Is that 100 regular videos or is that 100 YouTube shorts? What's the best strategy for watch hours? I have the 1K subs. The watch hours are tough. So pro fan talk, I actually did a whole video on the best strategy for getting the 4,000 watch hours. You definitely should go watch it either after this, or you should watch it tomorrow or put it in your watch later queue. So I would definitely consider that one. I've literally done a whole video on it. So Malcolm Sneed Jr. Hey, what's up, Malcolm? Appreciate you. I remember you, man. Like, so what other platform using platforms at the same time you advise it? So at my stage in the creator journey, I don't have a downside for it, and I am at least monetized. Technically, I'm monetized on Twitch, unless they kicked me out for multi-streaming. And I'm monetized on formerly twitter.com, now x.com. So, and then I network on LinkedIn, and so just having more content there helps me. Facebook, I have some monetization on Facebook, but not the ads. So I do it because every platform pays me. But beyond every platform paying me, I have a reason and a trick for using StreamYard to multi-stream. You see, by multi-streaming to multiple platforms, I'm able to abuse the notification system, and then people can decide what platform they like me on best. Usually that's YouTube has the best viewer experience for them. And so then they come to YouTube anyway. So I just use it to get around the YouTube notification system and whether it's serving me or not. And it works wonderfully for me. So that's my secret for multi streaming and why StreamYard is a fantastic piece of software and why they're our favorite sponsor. Thank you to StreamYard for sponsoring today's video and all of our live streams and for just all their tremendous support over the years. Couldn't do it without them. Javon says, "Hey Roberto, I took your advice about looking at Pokemon channels to inspire my Disney Lorcana idea. Sadly, the product has been scarce and pack openings aren't viable. Any creative ways you can think of?" I'd have to know more about Lorcana specifically because, again, my strat was based on the availability of product. If product isn't available, then what you might have to do for the Lorcana stuff. Why did they pick that name? It's such a bad name. Anyway, what you might have to do for Lorcana if it's hard to get packs. I'm shocked you can't just buy box sets on Amazon though. Can't you just buy box sets on Amazon? If it's hard to get packs, but again, I would just buy box sets on Amazon. Then consider looking at doing lore videos on the individual cards and explaining what the cards do and borrowing ideas from the Yu-Gi-Oh card community. So we'll just move to inspiration from another card community, Yu-Gi-Oh. Sean Park says, Are the group sessions recorded and available as a replay if we're able to make to each one?" Yes, we actually use that. And in the Facebook group, we keep all of the sessions available. People tend to watch the replays. And if people have questions that they had from the group that they posted and they weren't live when we were there, we actually timestamp their question for them, tag them. This is why it's great to have my sister Ariana working for me and to have Andy Rivera working for me. Both of them are great. They go back in the videos, they tag the creator who had a question if they posted it and if they weren't on the live, and tag them with the timestamp of where the answer to their particular question is. And they put that there. Plus, we go back and we answer the question with a text update with a summary of the answer to the question as well. One of these days, I'll make an unlisted video and post it in the community tab and post it in different places on the channel, maybe more than one, where you can learn a lot more about Awesome Creator Academy. Along the road, I'm not working at the moment. I'm hoping to monetize. So do I have to go back into, so I don't have to go back into an office? I have the time right now to make money and set aside. Thanks for response. Yeah. If you're not working right now, then use my free content, especially if you're not monetized. Use the free content to get monetized. And once you're monetized and you're making steady income or you have a steady job, then you can join the academy if you so desire. My recommendation is if you're not working at the moment, honestly, instead of worrying so much about content creation monetizing, it is long and hard to get monetized with content. I would do gig work. I would do freelance work like I did. I was a full-time freelancer. I would either be a freelancer, do gig work. I would even consider working a part-time job so you have guaranteed money coming in every 2 weeks. There's no shame in going back to the office. Far from it. As long as you aren't in a place specifically where you're being abused on the workplace, there's no shame in a 9-to-5 job. There's no shame in going back to the office. There's no shame in doing a part-time job. There's no shame in freelancing or doing gig work and not being able to say, oh, hey, look at me. I'm a full-time content creator. Don't let anybody ever shame you for doing what you have to do to pay your bills. As long as you're doing it ethically and legally, there's nothing wrong with doing what you got to do to pay your bills. If it comes back to it, go back to an office job. You may not love it right now. But the thing is, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for the office jobs that put me here. My office jobs gave me tremendous experiences. My bosses sometimes sucked, but I still learned from my bosses even when they sucked. Even when my bosses were being a pain in the ass, I learned from them and they were valuable to me. And so spending my time learning under the Dark Lords was very valuable. It was very helpful. It made me very successful. So there is a benefit to it. Even working my retail jobs helped me with some of my introversion and breaking out of my shell. And it gave me discipline. I learned to endure doing difficult, hard things. And I learned emotional control. I also learned, when necessary, how to put up an emotional mask of indifference and be able to just do my damn job. So there is a value to it. And it is important to understand that whatever you have to do within reason to pay your bills is valid. And don't let someone shame you for having a 9 to 5 job if that's what you need to do to survive. And then that's what allows most people to be able to put back into their channels and everything like that. I think it's a disservice that you have a bunch of these 20-something-year-old YouTubers bragging about the fact they never had to work a real job. That's a privilege. That's a privilege. It's a privilege that if you never have to work a quote unquote 9 to 5 job or never have to work a real job, that is a privilege. And it's nothing to really be that excited or brag about, because in exchange for that privilege, they lost a lot of valuable learning. They lost a lot of valuable discipline, and they didn't get punched in the mouth nearly enough times to be that bold or that arrogant or that confident in life. Confidence should be built on overcoming difficulty, not having a bunch of privilege to be allowed to excel very young and very early. People who have done that, they have a hard time really dealing with hardship when it does come for them. So I don't really envy them as much as one might think. And I don't envy young people who are successful early, because there's a lot of value to taking your lumps sooner rather than later. It hurts a lot less. No one gets out of it. It's just a matter of whether it happens sooner or whether it happens later. So along the narrow road, it might suck and everything, but if you get a job that's flexible enough to leave you some room for your dream of content creation, that's probably valid and that's probably fine. But I highly encourage you to get at least part-time consistent work and hours so that you have a means to take care of yourself and possibly invest in yourself. By that, I mean into equipment, lights, camera, whatever, software to pursue content creation. But I don't believe in trying to say, I'm just going to grind and I'm going to make it as a content creator. If as long as you're not like 18, if you're 18, then that's fine. Like if you're 18, 19, that's fine. As long as your parents are willing to help you out, that's fine. But if you're older than that, there's no shame in getting a 9 to 5 job and just working and doing this part time. None at all. Most creators have to do that. Andre Rack said, at how many subscribers would it make sense to think about selling paid courses, content courses, tutorials, channel? Thanks. It depends on what you're doing. If you're a filmmaker, for example, then it's not really about the subscriber count. You could start fairly early if you're like, if you're a filmmaker and you have really great skill under your belt, you do great color grading, storytelling, maybe you've won an award at a film festival, then it makes sense. Okay, absolutely makes sense to sell a course. If you have a background in audio engineering and you have a credential, it makes absolute sense, and subscriber count doesn't affect that and doesn't really matter. So keep that in mind. It depends on what your niche and your background is and what accreditations you have. If you are teaching, if you have accreditations to teach sign language, you don't need to worry about subscriber count to sell a course on that. You can sell at day zero. You can run ads. You can do all a number of things. The main important thing is to be able to prove the value of your work and prove your capabilities as a competent teacher, and to have publicly verifiable things that people can use to understand how good you are at the thing you claim to teach and what your claims to success are. So I would think about that. Can you talk about why some famous channels die after 5 to 6 years? People grow out of them. There's churn. They themselves grow out of the content. Sometimes outrightly, they change as a person. Often, a lot of them have scandals. A lot of them also code switch on their audience. There's also sometimes a lack of consistency. Any number of a variety of reasons. They're all different. Hmm. So Heroes TV Japan, a massive analytics dive like this um is more of a like one-on-one thing than it would be an academy thing. This would be much more of a one-on-one thing, and all we would talk about is your analytics if that's the case. Because this is a pretty extreme situation. If you're gaining 1,000 subs and then lose 600 subs, and you're having troubles now where it's 100, you were getting 100K views, but now it's like 1 to 3K, and you don't know why. But you consider checking and seeing if how your channel looks in restricted mode and if videos are disappearing. Open up 2 tabs, have one tab open that's normal, be on the videos tab for your channel, put these side by side on your screen, and then check if videos are disappearing to restricted mode. Then you'll want to go to YouTube's website for the support, and you'll want to do an appeal on videos that are in restricted mode. Viper and I did a live stream about restricted mode. You might want to check into that. Do you think live stream on X is the future? I think it could be. I think it could be. It's the world's water cooler in a way. So this was absolute gold. Thanks as always, Roberto. Any thoughts on art creation content, or did you cover that already? It depends. I know how I would approach it, but not everyone is going to want to approach it my way, because the thing is, so here's the problem with art YouTube. Okay. And I'm not saying this to be hypercritical, and I'm not dunking on anybody or anything in particular when I say this, but art YouTube has a problem. You see, art YouTube has a very big problem. See, art is antithetical to what grows YouTube channels, meaning that what artists want to do and what satisfies artists emotionally is the opposite of what makes YouTube channels grow most of the time. There are rare instances, and there are successful art channels, don't get me wrong, but there are rare instances where the values of artists and the values of YouTube's platform converge. And because those desires and those incentives are so drastically misaligned, very much so, it's why most art creators struggle on the platform, not only just in terms of their content growth, but they struggle emotionally on the platform because of it, because deep down they know that the way the platform works doesn't support the way that they want to create. And so therein is the rub. And so the thing is, it's very difficult and very challenging for most artists to grow on YouTube. Now, I have friends who are artists who do grow on YouTube. Sarah Renee Clark, for example, who I've interviewed on the podcast. My friend Josiah Brooks, you guys probably know him better as Jazza. He's probably the biggest successful art creator. And there's art creators that I haven't met personally that I admire tremendously. Like primary example being, and why am I spacing on his name right now? I watch all of his content, so why am I spacing on his name? But it's Joshua. I'm spacing on his YouTube name, but it's Joshua, right? Very talented artist, right? So the problem with YouTube and art creation is I could tell you a viable strategy to grow as an art creator on YouTube, and it would probably be emotionally not very satisfying for you, and you'd probably think some of it is a bit soulless and has nothing to do with what you want to make. But I could probably give a strategy for getting 100,000 subscribers as an art channel. So just for fun, just for giggles here, just for giggles, I'll tell all of you Roberto's brilliant strategy for growing an art YouTube channel. I'll just tell you what I would do if I was the most talented artist in the world. Here's what I would do. See, I already would have analyzed a strategy that has been proven by Colin and Samir and Patty Galloway already. The majority of young people that exist on the YouTube platform are obsessed with big YouTubers, obsessed with them, tremendously obsessed with them. Can't get enough of them. And the audience of people obsessed with big YouTubers is very large, very large. The Mr. Beast audience alone is massive. The audience for some of these creators. And so if I look at creators who have 10, 20 million subscribers, and I decide to make art that is a time capsule and a love letter to YouTube as a platform's biggest and boldest creators, I already know I have a pathway to 100,000 subscribers, if not 1 million subscribers, by becoming the YouTube community's favorite artist that celebrates their champions, the people they love, and the moments they care about as a community. But see, that has nothing to do with what you might want to make as an artist. You see what I'm saying? But I already know what would work. And so I know projects that I would do. See, I would make projects that celebrate these creators' biggest accomplishments and milestones and are a love letter to their communities and that they would love. And the thing is, I could make a lot of money doing this. Primary example would be like commemorating a big YouTube moment. Like, for example, if there's some massive moment that happens with like KSI and or Logan Paul or whatever, what I could do is I could do an entire mural that like is a time capsule moment of the Logan Paul KSI fights and then their ultimate collaboration with Prime. And then that's like a whole mural. And then that whole like mural, if I do it on a giant board, if I do that art on a giant board and I time lapse it, that's like a whole thing. And if or it can even be done digitally first and time lapsed, then superimposed with a projector onto a board, and I could time lapse painting it and coloring it and doing everything analog and everything like that. And the thing is, I could either sell off that art piece, or for collaboration and clout, I could send that art piece commemorating the relationship between KSI and Logan Paul as rivals turned business partners. What if I shipped it to KSI? And the thing is, it's so big and it's so too good to be true. All of a sudden, there's a chance he puts it in an Instagram story or it shows up in a video with him and the sidemen and everything. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, who's that artist? Who's that? And that's an instant shout out. If you do something massive for Matthew Beam and you like commemorate Matthew Beam's biggest and best milestones and projects in a mural, all of a sudden, and then you send that to Matthew Beam, that's kind of a big deal. And his audience would celebrate and also, again, flock to the channel. That's a whole thing. Okay. There, same thing for Michelle Carre. You do a mural to Michelle Carre that has her greatest moments, and the centerpiece of it is her wedding to Garrett. Her audience flocks to that and everything like that. So if I literally just did murals commemorating the biggest YouTubers, and then their time capsules of those YouTubers' moments, and it's a love letter to the YouTuber and their community, and I'm sending a physical version of it to the YouTubers, and it's a massive piece that's too big to ignore that got sent to them, there's a chance it shows up in their videos and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. And then as for the digital version, because what I do is I do it digitally and then do a physical recreation of it, because then if I have the digital artwork, one, it's easier to put on the channel in a way, but then it's also easy to take this artwork and turn it into things that the community could buy print on demand, which could be dope. And so now I'm making these moments, and it's also a massive challenge, and it is larger than life to do a big project like this, encapsulating these YouTubers. And so by being YouTube's art time capsule, that'd be a way to make a name for oneself as the platform's most beloved artist. But see, here's the thing. That kind of idea, and I have other concepts that could be done with this, by the way, this general idea. Here's the thing. That has nothing to do with anything you want to make as an artist, does it? You see? It's a system that I could come up with that has a massive way to pull the largest audiences in YouTube in and to be too good to ignore, and to be too relevant to ignore. Problem with it? What does that have to do with what you want to create and what's in your heart as an artist? It doesn't. But it does harness what YouTube and YouTube viewers care about. Relevant characters in the YouTube community, guaranteed total addressable market because I'd only target YouTubers with 10 million subscribers or more for this that are beloved. Timing wise, I could figure out the seasonal cycle of these YouTubers' relevancy and do that. Plus, it's also really good evergreen content and marketability and profitability. I already told you how it's baked in and built in. So much that can be done with that. Limited editions, like people snatch that up. Boom. Profit. So again, big premieres for it, massive super chats on the drops once the popularity is in place and everything, built-in possible collaborations and shout outs from it, possible commissions from big YouTubers because of it, built-in business model, built-in profitability, and the main fault has nothing to do with what you're passionate about if you're not in love with big YouTubers as an artist to create, which means then it's soul crushing. So there you go. So the thing is, I know exactly what I would do if, like, for most things, I actually am like, here's exactly an idea that has a pathway to being a 100,000 subscriber channel. Here's about roughly what you'd have to do. Here's how many videos we have to make. Here's how difficult it is. Here's why it's very hard to duplicate it. Whatever. The problem is, if you wanted to make that content, you probably would have came up with that idea already. It's very hard sometimes to make somebody's original idea that they come up with work, because the thing is, if that idea was going to work, it would be working already. I can tell you what would work. Most of you will not want to do it. So yeah, it's only a representation of those big YouTubers, but not yourself, the one doing the work, unless that's all your channel will be about, a representation of other people and not yourself. This is what I mean. See, the thing is, I disagree with that take to some degree, but also, again, an artist is going to feel like, oh, nothing of me is in this. And it's like that's how an artist thinks. But again, an artist can make stuff that purely represents them and not get 10,000 subscribers. You see the problem? I told you that none of you will want to do what I'm saying. None of you will want to do what I'm saying here, because if you're an artist, it's not what's in your heart. It's not within your soul. It's not what you're passionate about. I know it'll work. I can take your skill as an artist and I can make it wildly profitable, and you'll never be a starving artist. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly how market dynamics work. The problem is, you'll think it's soulless. So again, people can do what they want and what feels good. Will it work? Will you make money? I don't know. I mean, if you can, then you should. If you can do something that makes you happy and satisfied and make money at it, then by all means doing it. The problem I've seen is most people do not have a good strategy for that, do not have the ability to sustain it, and are not capable of it. So, thing is, I am very good at figuring out how to make money from content. I'm not always good at making that line up with making you feel good. I'm not always good at making that be the thing you're most passionate about in the world. Because the thing is, I can't make people love your ideas. I can't make people love your ideas if they don't already. I can't take something that people don't want and turn it into something people do want. I can only help you discover what people want. And I can tell you what people want. I can show you the data behind people want. We can get all the data, all the research. That has nothing to do with whether it will make you happy. I do know it will make you happy looking at your bank account for about, whatever amount of time, though. I do know that you'll be happy looking at your bank account. You won't necessarily be happy looking at your portfolio of work. So the thing is, that's a choice sometimes. Sometimes that's a choice. Do I think the vidIQ channel audit AI is on point, and can I take that advice for my channel since it's supposed to be custom to my channel? I would have to test that more, and I cannot guarantee it for every video or every niche or every idea or every creator. So the thing is, I would have to test it more. But even if I test it more, I'm not on your channel. So the thing is, I can't vouch for it that way. And it's an AI. I can't vouch for the consistency of AI. AI is too new. A human being would be one thing. This new video editor from YouTube, the YouTube Create app. I have an Android phone that I have to download it to. I haven't gotten to it yet though. But yeah. So yeah, the main thing is that like, yeah, there's a massive divergence between what works for YouTube and what makes you happy. Ray Dizzle on YouTube is a big art channel. She reviews, tries things, and is able to share her style while doing it. This may be something to try too. Yeah, you could try it, but again, like there are exceptions and anomalies. There, like like there are people who they do their art, they do the thing, they grow, but also art channels also do start to decline. Art channels do start to decline. Art channels, um sometimes as a result of doing what you're suggesting, have a shelf life. The big problem with art channels is they don't monetize well enough and they're resistant to monetization strategy, not just to strategies to get views. Because all right, so here's the problem with art channels. Art channels are entirely lopsided on the Ikigai framework. And this is not me dunking and this is not hating on art channels. I'm just telling you the truth because there's a reason artists starve. There's a reason artists starve. And the reason artists starve, and it does break my heart, by the way, is because in the Ikigai framework of passion, skill, profitability, and serving an audience, artists are lopsided because they do what they're passionate about, they are good at it, they're resistant to everything that would make it as profitable as possible. And often they're resistant to what the audience wants if it conflicts with what they're passionate about. If the audience wants one thing and the artist wants another, do you know what wins? The artist wins and the audience loses. That's not how YouTube works. So that's the problem. So the thing is, if you're passionate about something and then your audience doesn't like it, an artist will go, well, screw it, I'm doing my passion. Completely opposite of what a YouTuber does. A YouTuber says, you know what? All right, the audience wins. I'll take a back seat here. So, okay, the audience wins. YouTubers who put the audience first wins. Most artists pathologically are resistant to putting the audience first and then saying what they want to do. They'll do it on their own time and they don't have to share it if people are rejecting it. Can't handle it. Okay. And that's why I've seen like it's not every artist, by the way, but like 80-20 rule majority of the time. Then there's the whole I don't want to be a sellout. I don't want to be a corpo. I don't want to be a sellout. I want to be a corpo. So what do they do? Ad revenue, Patreon, beg for sponsors, refuse to monetize by any other means, refuse to build a system and an actual business that supports their artwork. Person who does this successfully, that's really smart, tremendously smart creator. Sarah Renee Clark built a real business around her art, wasn't afraid to monetize, wasn't afraid to sell directly to her audience, wasn't afraid to make things that her audience will buy and then market and promote them effectively. And that's why Sarah Renee Clark is successful and was able to build a 7-figure business and a 6-figure subscribed YouTube channel, over 100K, probably a 250,000 now, and built a 7-figure business because she wasn't afraid to monetize and she's not afraid to put the needs of the audience first to grow. So like she does what the audience responds to and is willing to like set some things aside and say, oh, well, I have the luxury now of being a full time artist. So that means when I want to make something for me, I don't even have to post it. So again, very smart on that part, is able to put the audience first, um, is passionate enough about what she does, but is able to put the audience first, built a real business around it. And she is very good at all the things that she's doing, and is smart enough to take other things off of her plate that she's not good at. So, like Sarah Renee Clark, tremendous businesswoman, tremendous creator, and tremendous artist. Most artists that I have met in the creator community refuse to build a product and sell it, and they refuse to build a system or a suite of products. They refuse to sell digital products. They refuse to monetize in other ways. The most they're willing to do is try to get a sponsor. The most they're willing to do is set up a Patreon, and then beyond that, take whatever AdSense they get. And it's not always great. And it's not always great because it's hard to get sponsors when you're doing what you're passionate about and you're not focusing on optimizing for views. Because then how are you going to sell to sponsors? It's not easy to get ad revenue when you're not optimizing for views and you're doing just what you're passionate about and not listening to your audience. So again, the problem for artists is how lopsided the prejudice toward passion is, because it's antithetical to what grows a YouTuber. What grows a YouTuber is doing something you're passionate enough about to make it sustainable, doing only what you're good at, making it as profitable and optimizing as profit as possible while being ethical, and then putting the needs of your audience first, even when your passion has to take a back seat to that, putting the needs of your audience first, staying in your lane of what you're good at, making sure you're optimizing for profit. Passion is not the most important thing to being a YouTube content creator. Serving an audience is with the skills that you have and staying in your lane and making sure that it's profitable so you don't starve to death and so that you can sustain it and so you can take care of your responsibilities and be an adult. That is antithetical to what most people are willing to do if they're art focused. And proof is in the pudding. Wolfbound. Wolfbound says, I focused on doing what I'm passionate about for about 9 years and went nowhere. See what I'm talking about? Then I focused on what works and got 100K followers on TikTok in 6 months and hated every second of it. But that's, I told you so. But that's, I told you so. I hate to say it like that, but I told you so. It's like, you like, do you want to do what you're passionate about for 9 years and hate that? Or do you want to do what works for 6 months and resent that? You make a choice. Most people don't get to have it both ways. Most people don't have to get to have it both ways. That's why most creative people just have to work a 9 to 5 job. Most creative people just have to work a 9 to 5 job. Do you know why? Because they'll starve if they chase their passion and try to turn it into their work. Because they're uncompromising, and it is a refusal to put the audience first and to do the things that will work to be profitable. And I say that with all due compassion and all due respect. I'm not the one. I'm going to say it all the time. It's like, it's it right here in the comments. Look at, just look at it. That's a really, and here's the thing. You know what really is hard for artists a lot of times, and I've lived through this before, by the way, when I was young and naive. When I was young and naive, you know what's really hard? What's really hard is to rationalize saying and doing what you're passionate about, and then trying to rationalize that to a significant other. Someone who's having to bet on your potential and sees your stubborn refusal sometimes to do what is necessary and to do what's going to make sense and do what's be practical and to be a grown-up. That's hard. That's extraordinarily hard. That's hard on a partner. That's hard on a significant other. That's hard on a spouse. To sit there and, watch you trace a dream that goes nowhere and then wondering how the hell they're supposed to commit to you when you aren't proving that you're able to build a future and be responsible. That's rough. And it sucks to say, well, then, okay, give up on your dreams. Because I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to learn to make things right size in your life. And the thing is, if you aren't able to come to some consensus, to some compromise on how to do just enough of what you're passionate about, but prioritize its profitability, prioritize serving an audience, and do what you're good at and prove that you're good at it, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really rough. And it's not just going to be rough for you. It's going to be rough on your family. It's going to be rough on people who rely on you. And a lot of people are going to realize they can't find you dependable. And this is why not only do a lot of artists struggle in their careers and struggle to make money, but they struggle to maintain healthy relationships, because that's really a lot to ask of people. So it's tough. And I'm not trying to be discouraging or be a Debbie Downer here. I'm just, there's an honest, necessary, candid conversation that comes from that. And so the thing is, Ikigai is about finding a purpose in life and a reason for being and balancing these things out. Do you know the thing I'm most passionate about is not necessarily YouTube? The thing I'm not most passionate about personally is not necessarily YouTube. I'm an artist too. You know what I do? You don't see me post most of my art because it's not for you, it's for me. And I don't need to make money off of it. Why? I make enough money doing something else I'm passionate about, teaching others. So I'm passionate about teaching. But am I more passionate about my own work than teaching? Yes. Do I share my own work? No. Why? Not because it's not good. A lot of it is good. A lot of it's very good. Any of you who have seen my photography, for example, know that my photography work is very good. It is not as easy to make money from it as it is to make money from my teaching, my strategy, my analytics, my abilities as a graphic designer to make products. I have other skills that are easier to profit from, easier to grow an audience around, easier to sustain, and easier to pay bills with, and have less stress and less anxiety, be a responsible adult, and be a much more eligible bachelor if I go that route than if I chase my passion over a cliff. So, a lot easier to do any number of things. And guess what that means? My passion that I care about is pure because I don't have to worry about it making money because I just do it in what time I have left. That was the solution I came up with. It's not always a satisfying answer for people, but if you look at the comments, if you look at the situation, it's a very reasonable decision that I came to on the art side of saying art gets to be a hobby for me. I get to do something else that I really like that makes a lot more money and is a lot less stressful to maintain. That was the rational choice I came to in my 30s that makes a lot more sense than what I would have came up with in my 20s. And I'm better for it. Again, not for everybody. You have to make your own decisions. I'm just pointing out what I think is practical and what I think allows for an easier life. Yeah. Cool Abstract Art says, artist here, no lies being told. I have never seen this point of view before, but I'm reevaluating everything going forward. Like you respectfully said, do what makes sense or don't grow. It's just the way it happens. It's just the way it happens sometimes. And I think, I mean, again, I'm not saying you can't do what you're passionate about. I'm saying you have to put it in your proper place. Maybe you get to do what you're passionate about 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week or something. And maybe that's enough. And maybe it's better if you don't have clients or an audience telling you or responding to it and it gets to sit in its pure place. When people come to the house, they get to see my photography. So I'm happy with that. And occasionally I'll post it to Twitter or Instagram. I'm happy with that occasionally. But I'd rather not have to try to figure out some way to try to make a living off of it when it's more difficult than it needs to be. Um, that's like wildly practical. You know what I'll get to do when I'm like older and like, hopefully again have a family and everything like that. I'll get to like do it all the time when I'm older because I'll have set aside money that lets me say, you know what, I don't need to work as hard, or I'll have grown my business to where I'm like, okay, I don't need to work as hard. I have all the time in the world here. Is it possible to pivot to your passion after serving your audience and growing a successful channel? This is kind of what I'm talking about. Is you have to decide, like, why do you have to post the thing you're passionate about on social media? Why can't you make social media a fun enough job by itself? And then why is your channel on YouTube or whatever have to be, this is my passion and I have to share it with the world? Why does that have to be the case? If you're passionate about something, why does it have to be the thing that you post on the thing? Because then you have to ask yourself, why am I doing that? Is it because you want to be paid from your passion? Why would you still need to be paid from your passion if you have enough money to retire? Ask yourself this. Do you need to post about your passion and do you need to do your passion 40 hours a week if you had enough money to retire? If the answer is that you don't, then the answer is to get enough money to retire and to do what gets you there faster. Because then the answer is, okay, do I need to post on the internet? And if I want to be acknowledged, why am I posting on the internet? Why am I not just entering competitions and winning awards? If you want to be acknowledged for your passion, go and compete on your passion and win awards and accolades for it and win trophies for it. And don't use social media for validation. Social media, in this case, could free up your time from your 9 to 5 job that you dislike, let you do something you like enough, make money, put those resources into being a better, more passionate artist, have the money and time flexibility to go onto the award circuit and go and win awards for photography, filmmaking, painting, art, whatever it is. Doing a YouTube channel successfully frees you up to write the great American novel because you don't have a 9 to 5 job and you're more flexible. Do you see what I'm getting at? It's like you can turn YouTube into something you like instead of feeling that it has to somehow, some way serve all of your passions and all of your identity and wrap your identity up in this. You can take your number 3, number 4, number 5 ranked passion so that it's not something you hate like your job. Make this into a job or business, make enough money to leave the 9 to 5, and that frees up a lot more time for things you're passionate about. But you don't have to give the things you're passionate about in your number 1 or number 2 slot to the internet to criticize, to judge, or to not value with their dollars. Give people what they will value with their attention, what they will value with their dollars, what you're good enough at to justify getting both of those things, and what you're passionate enough about not to hate all of it. Then you get to reserve your number 1 or number 2 passion for a pure place that doesn't have a transaction attached to it. See what I'm getting at? Number 1 and number 2 passion, maybe you don't do a transaction there. Maybe that's just for you. Number 3, 4, and 5, you can sell those if you're good enough at them, if there's an audience for it, and if it's profitable. Then number 3, 4, 5, one of those has to be a way to monetize and be a big enough audience and be good enough at. One of those has to be viable. Be really weird if it wasn't. Yeah, actually, Sewing Report is one of my most successful clients. Took 7 years to get to 100K. Very difficult, but you learn while doing it. Absolutely. Yeah, I like to think this is like the real talk of YouTube right here. I feel like this is a life coaching live session. Also made me think a lot. Thank you so much. Yep. Cool art abstract says, I feel so seen. Been making art passionately since childhood, starting to sell my art for the first time in 2015. Started YouTube less than 2 years. Always loved creating. Starting the new parts was always hard. Yeah, yeah, it can be. Absolutely agree with this. It should make sense. Some things should just remain just for you. That's the other cool thing. Some things should be just for you, and they're more precious and more protected if they are. They're more protected if they are. Daily Truth Devotional. What's a good impression click through rate? Okay, so actually, in terms of that, I actually have some data for you. What if I told you that there is possibly, as weird as it sounds, what if I told you that click through rate does not matter as much as big YouTubers claim? Um, and what if I told you I had evidence of that? What if I told you, Neo? What if I told you? Sorry, what if I told you that if we look at even for views, These are the most viewed videos on my channel. Let's scrap worrying about their watch time. Let's not worry about their revenue. Let's focus on click-through rate and impressions, shall we? All right. So let's look at the most viewed videos on my channel in 2023. Let's look at the most viewed videos on my channel in 2023. Okay. And we're going to nix subscribers just so that I can make this bigger for you. So we'll hide the subscribers that generated. We don't care. And then let's make it bigger. We need to make it slightly less big so you can see. Okay. Yeah, that should be good enough. Okay. So here's the deal. Here's the deal, Sparky. All right. So look at these views and now look at these click-through rate impressions. These are my most viewed videos on YouTube. And most of them have a less than one. Well, like, let me phrase that. These are my most viewed videos in 2023. And you might note that they have a less than 1% click-through rate a lot of times. Some of them a 3% click-through rate, 4%. This one is very search-friendly with 11%. So how much does click-through rate really matter? Right. See what I'm saying? Click-through rate is one of the most overrated metrics in YouTube. Click-through rate is not why something happens. It is what actually happened. Click-through rate, I talked to YouTube executives about this while I was like an engineer. I talked to the YouTube employees. I was at an event in the YouTube Made on YouTube event. I was at the Made on YouTube event where they did all the announcements earlier this week. And I talked to the VP of product. I talked to the senior product lead, and I talked to CEO Neil Mohan while we were all at a dinner thing. And there were several conclusions I came to about YouTube. YouTube is optimized for a metric they called viewer enjoyment. Click-through rate is not as valuable as we think it is as YouTubers. It's important to measure YouTube click-through rate on your own videos and for traffic sources. It's not as important a metric as you might have been led to believe by bigger YouTubers. In fact, you may have noticed that a bunch of the people who work for big YouTubers behind the scenes that post all their threads and all their stuff and stuff like that have started shying away from click-through rate and talking about how important it is because they know now that it's not as important as it was originally claimed to be. So again, if we look at the data for this video, the click-through rate on this is not abnormally high, and this varies from channel to channel and niche to niche. But look at the impressions and the views from YouTube recommended. This is a video that did well with the algorithm, and this is our measuring stick for that, honestly. This is our measuring stick for that. But notice something. This says from impressions to views from impressions to average view duration to watch time from impressions that happened, which tells me that YouTube cares about this because this is the bottom of the funnel. Whatever is at the bottom of the funnel is what YouTube actually cares about. Watch time from impressions originated from that video. Does not include watch time for sources where we do not track impressions. Total watch time is shown on the graph above. So guess what? My bell notifications didn't do jack. Most of my views were from non-subscribers. And my traffic source was the YouTube homepage for 79%, almost 80% of it was the YouTube homepage, 8% suggested. And then after that, it's search with 3%. So this means that over 90% of the traffic, or roughly 9% of the traffic, algorithmic traffic for this video, and it got 80,000 views, and its click-through rate was that. Its unique viewers was 65K unique viewers, which, by the way, that's your real audience, is your unique viewers. Your subscriber count, your views per upload, your average views per upload, the views you got on your last upload, None of that. View to subscriber ratio is BS. It doesn't matter. I talked to them about it. It doesn't matter. Your true audience, which you can find in analytics in your audience tab, your true audience is unique viewers in the last 28 days. Probably unique viewers in the last 90 days is more accurate. So the thing is, oh, you have a dead audience. You know what? That whole conversation would end immediately. If, oh, you have a dead audience, that would end immediately. If YouTube published this right under your bloody subscriber count, no one would have anything to say about how active your audience is. Because clearly, if 160 unique viewers watched me in the last day, that's my unique viewers. So that's my actual audience. Okay, so what if 40K of them are returning viewers? Okay, so what? But I got 160 unique people. And then out of that, I converted a bunch of those new people. That's how you grow, is new people. I converted them to subscribers. I converted them to almost 3,000 new subscribers. Like that's a pretty good conversion rate, to be honest with you, to get 160,000 and convert three. Like normally 1% rule says that should be like 1.6K. So that's actually a pretty high conversion rate, which is really good. So again, those are the kind of things you would want to look more at in terms of YouTube. And then it also tells you which videos grew your audience in the last 90 days. And so on and so forth. YouTube has all kinds of really solid data. Again, non-subscribers is how you grow. Everyone's like, oh, I want active subs. I want active subs. What? For your ego? Growth comes from non-subscribers watching your videos. What is better to do? Live videos or previously recorded ones? Depends entirely on your audience, and it depends on where you are in your creator journey. Early on, most of the time, it's going to obviously be recorded videos. To Doug Hewson's point, great friend of the channel, click-through rate is mad subjective. So yeah. So yes, if you can determine things like viewer satisfaction, one of the biggest indicators of viewer satisfaction is actually measuring unique viewers and returning viewers individual behavior, but also among the content and the formats, and looking at things like, I mean, prime example, look at these ratios on, I can see, thank God for YouTube updating this panel, by the way. This is great data. New viewers, when it comes to live streams, new viewers is a big deal for me, which is part of me doing more of them. Returning viewers, I'm getting a big boost in returning viewers for live streams, so that's me doing more of them. Subscribers, it's even. So I'm looking at those things, and so that tells me a lot right off the bat off my audience. It also tells me a lot that that's one of the first things that YouTube puts up there. So then it tells me what content I'm publishing more. I've obviously been publishing more live streams than anything. Giving me typical views, telling me which formats people prefer, telling me where they find me. Again, for me, it's browse and suggested. So that's algorithmic traffic. My suggested videos is how my live streams work. Browse is how my regular videos work. And so then when I go to different content tabs, when I go to views, I haven't uploaded, if you noticed, in all of September, basically, I haven't uploaded a recorded video. I will, but like that's why the views for recorded videos is not as strong. But where I've done live streams, which I've done 2 this month, I've only done 2 live streams this month, but I've gotten massive views from it. But look at my click-through rate; it didn't matter. Post to my community tab. I haven't done as many. When I do post to my community tab, that helps me actually. And then it tells me which type of posts do better: images, polls, quizzes, text, videos, so on and so forth. Shorts, I don't post. So my old shorts still bring in views, ironically enough. Maybe in the future I might do something different with that. I don't make money on shorts, so I don't really care as much. Plus, I'm a long form creator. Retention graphs. This becomes important to measure viewer enjoyment. Retention graphs are key. So you can use that as an indicator. Let's see. For recorded videos, browse features and search get me the most views. But if I went to live streaming, that is going to be different. Like if I go to live, it's going to be suggested videos is my strongest traffic source. Overwhelmingly, 85% suggested videos for the live streams. If I click into it, it would tell me which live streams recommend it. Shorts, I'm willing to bet that it's browse feature, so it's the homepage feed for shorts, and then it's the shorts feed. That's ironic. Then suggested videos. Again, I only have 3 shorts. At some point, I need to fill out more shorts, even though I'm not big on that personally. I do have a project where I want to do shorts because I want to make an appendix for easy to find answers. So Alicia Marie, how do you find your audience? Alicia Marie, I actually recommend that you watch the live stream we did on finding your niche and finding your audience. That's a live stream I think we did last week. Detailed breakdown on that. It'll help you so much. Yeah, Angelique says they're doing live streams and they're growing faster than ever. Yep. Yeah, unique viewers is actual human beings that watch your channel, is the actual individual people that watch your channel. Is literally one unique viewer equals one human. Do you actually make money off just uploading shorts? Some people do, but it's not good money. It's not that good. It's not a lot. Unless they're getting tens of millions of views, it's not a lot. And even then, it's like barely livable. Primary example would be that if we look at my revenue tab, we actually know what my RPMs are. So right now, because I'm not posting any new videos, it's old videos only. This RPM is not accurate because it's just going off of my old inventory. Live, however, that is accurate. And for shorts, this is me, but this is not normal. And my shorts revolve around money. So take that with a grain of salt. But my shorts RPM is 11 cents for me, which is abnormally high. But hey, take it. My live stream RPM is 13. My videos is 6, but that will turn into 10 RPM or more if I upload regular videos more, which I've not been doing. So this is my ad revenue. My ad revenue is not my real revenue, and meaning it is my partner program. This is all my YouTube partner program revenue, but it's not what I make from Awesome Creator Academy through coaching. It's not what I make in affiliate links through Amazon and TubeBuddy, Epidemic Sound, Kajabi, and StreamYard, my biggest affiliate programs. So from affiliate marketing alone, I make about 5,000-6,000 a month right now from affiliate marketing links alone, recurring usually. And it can be good in my niches, especially when you do hardware or software. Hardware and software affiliate is really good. Amazon's really good on hardware. Other platforms, you do their software, so on and so forth. So that can be good. TubeBuddy's 3,000. Kajabi is like 1,400 for me. Epidemic Sounds another like 300-400. Amazon varies so much. Then there's my book sales, and my book sales fluctuate, but that's about like somewhere between 300 and 500 a month from my book sales. Even without me promoting it heavily, I need to promote it more. When I promote it more, I get 1,000 a month. When I promote it, I get somewhere between 300 and 500 when I don't promote it. So, that's a whole thing. Primary example for that is, I wonder if I can pull it up. KDP. Can I pull it up? Do I have to do my whole login spiel? That's annoying. I have to log in. If I can log in, I can show you like the back end for like book sale stuff. So yeah, so Amazon KDP, it just depends month to month. But for this month, for 48 orders processed so far, and there's still time in the month, it's almost to 300. Again, it could be 300 all the way up to 500. If I actually market the book more, it does better, and I end up getting up to 800, 1,000 if I promote it more. So that's Amazon side. So between multiple streams of income beyond ad, not just ad revenue, but the YouTube partner program as a whole. When I combine affiliates and then there's sponsors, obviously, and everything like that, can't disclose exactly what I do from sponsors. In aggregate, it's very nice, but it's probably my biggest overall stream. And then again, through the coaching. So between all of those things, I do pretty well for myself. Anyone who's watched my income report videos knows that's pretty significant income. So I do 6 figures a year, still at, so that's really good. How many hours do you suggest doing live streams for each recording? It just depends on your content and your channel. It varies from person to person. I'm like, I do like 2 to 3 hours, all the way up to 4 hours. Other people do less. It's fine. What suggestions do you have for using community posts more? I use a lot of them for polls, but frankly, a better monetization method for a lot of you would be if you started using your community tab to sell things. That'd be better for most of you. So a lot of you should be using your community tab to sell merchandise, affiliate links, um, anything that you can monetize, promote your membership. You guys should be using your community tab to monetize more, a lot more. In terms of everything I was going over from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, like the principles of shuhari apply in the sense that the beginning foundation and the first like while of your YouTube journey is about learning, which is what this channel helps provide you with. And then you should be experimenting on that learning and executing it and refining your content. And then when you know what is working, you should be refining and innovating on top of that so that it's harder to compete with you and harder to duplicate. And that's how you get to 100,000 subscribers. I walked you through a lot of what that looked like for me. Yeah, that's my goal. My goal is pure education in its raw form. That's why my preference is to do live streaming. I'm going to keep doing edited videos, 5 tips, 15 tips, how to. And like I said, I'm going to actually do videos that are edited around what gear you need, what cameras are on a budget, lighting, sound, all those kind of things, and how to do your setup, some editing tutorials, things that you need to know for skills. Because again, the philosophy of Kaizen and improving every day also relies properly on using Ikigai to have a vision that you've crafted for the purpose of your improvement, but then also Kaizen improving every day. And then the fundamental principles of Shuhari in terms of the 3 levels of learning. And what I want to do is I want to walk creators through the 3 levels of learning. So that is being a working class content creator that needs to build their skills from nothing, then transitioning into being that career driven creator that is transitioning into being full time. And then I still want to provide tremendous advanced value to established creators who might still be struggling. And with them, that's more about the business. That's much more about the business. So, what's the fundamental thing here? Most people struggle with even creating content in the first place. That's basically level one. Level one is creating good content is really hard. And to do that, you need skills. You need to be a producer, an editor, a performer. there's a lot that you have to learn. You have to be able to write scripts. You have to be able to research. You have to be able to analyze. You have to be able to make good content. So making good content comes first. Then you have to be able to do audience growth and development. That's where my strategy based content really comes into play. Even though that's been a heavy focus, I want to go back to beginner stuff. And then we go to level 2, which is growth. Level 2 is growth. Level 3 is optimizing for monetization and making more income, diversifying those income streams. So the thing is, those are basically our 3 levels when it comes to shuhari is create content and learn how to do that well and learn from the masters of how to create good content. Then we have to learn the strategies for audience growth and development and learn how to analyze and refine and improve what we do and experiment. Then we have to innovate and make ourselves stand out in the market. And we actually have to monetize and build a successful business around it. So that's how we're elevating into across the 3 levels. And that's how we're utilizing it. We want to accomplish this, and we're going to accomplish this by improving every single day, a little piece at a time in key areas. And so the key areas in which creators can improve, what I call Kaizen for creators, is, hang on, I'll show you a little thing I made around that. I think we have it here. So Kaizen for creators. This is really valuable. In fact, actually, go ahead and screenshot this now if you have a chance. Go ahead and screenshot this. I'll leave this up for a couple of seconds and I'll explain Kaizen for creators real quick. So now's your chance to just go ahead and screenshot. All right, everybody good? Okay. So Kaizen for creators. Value, quality, strategy, monetization. Value is largely a conversation around our ideas and our packaging and communicating value for the viewer and knowing what to make for them. So that's where we have to really understand what to make for them. And it's very important to do that. Quality is the experience that they're going to have. And that's about like viewer enjoyment. So the thing is, value is about viewer preferences. People screen for their preferences first. Then once we get past the screening for their preferences, then they're able to have an experience and then decide how much they enjoy that and what the quality of that experience was. So that becomes very important. Okay. Strategy helps us understand how to formulate and understand our audience's preference and what we need to do for them. It also is going to help us with that quality. And it also bleeds over into optimizing for our monetization. And we do need to optimize for monetization. We need to diversify our monetization, you know, how this is going to make money. So then the intersectionality of those things are our impact, influence, income, and our innovation. Our innovation is our ability to do unique things that are compelling and that are going to be very specific to our situation and adaptable. That's going to be very important. When you have a good monetization strategy and you're making high quality content, income definitely follows when you do that. Okay. And then when you have valuable content that people want and they have a great quality experience, you are making an impact. When you understand your audience and then you also are able to deliver and package value for them, you're able to have influence over them, but also influence over the niche itself. So these things become valuable to you. And that's why this is a really good framework to learn. And these are the type of things that we focus on in Awesome Creator Academy and that we teach, and why I have a passion for incorporating Eastern philosophy. So when you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. And it's something that is actionable, it's practical, and it's incredibly useful to have direction as a creator. So we have a question from Darrell. Do you think 2 long form videos and 3 shorts per week is enough for a graphic design channel for growth? I'm doing it all on my own while running a business. I think that's more than enough, to be honest with you. I don't even know that you need the shorts unless you just want to do the shorts. I don't even know that you need the shorts, but yeah, that's more than enough, Darrell, to be honest with you. You can grow off of that. And that gives you 100 long form videos a year. So then you just need a really effective strategy around that. If you wanted to hire a coach, your boy here was dominating the graphic design niche for years. So, it's not like I don't know how to do that. And it's not like I don't still advise my friends in the niche. So, just a thought. And running the business, I know a little something about that. I know a little something about scaling those things. So, yeah. What does believing in your journey mean to you and how it has it impacted your life? I don't know that it means anything to me, to be honest with you. Believing in your journey, I don't know if that means anything to me. To me, that just sounds really fluffy. That sounds like a platitude. Believing in your journey sounds like a platitude. It might mean something more to other people. I don't know that it means anything to me. I didn't always believe in what I was doing 1,000%. Oh my God, I believe it. I'm going to make it. No, I've had crisis of faith constantly throughout my life. I've constantly been besieged by a crisis of faith. So I don't know that believing in your journey means anything to me. What I believe in is surviving. What I believe in is overcoming hardship. What I believe is enduring. What I believe in is scraping and scrapping and scratching your way and refusing to die. That's what I believe in. I believe that mostly you're alone in most things and that it's you and it's the Almighty and that's it. And for most people, that's enough. And other than that, I don't know what to tell you because I certainly haven't had some unwavering belief in myself. That's not necessarily true. I haven't necessarily having some unwavering belief in my journey. I've had to pivot, adapt, and evolve so many times that that's certainly not the case. And I've certainly not always believed in humanity. That's for damn sure. I've wanted to burn this like freaking floating graveyard to the ground multiple times, especially in my teens and 20s. So I don't know that I believe in believing in your journey. I believe in surviving. I believe in refusing to die. I believe in scraping, clawing, scrapping, shaking your fist at the heavens, and doing whatever it takes within reason. That's what I believe in. Anyone who wants to grow in this and in a financial position to do so can benefit from paying someone reputable to take a look at your channel and do an honest assessment. Yep, that's true. Also, there's a lot you don't know that you don't know. A lot of times, even especially the brand deal stuff, it's a lot. There's a lot you may not know, and that could be easily overlooked, or it might be a gap in your education that could make all the difference in the world. And that one thing could be worth the cost of admission, to be honest. Yep. Anyway, I think that that's actually a very good place to bookmark it for today's stream. And I hope you have a better understanding of the foundations of what it takes to actually get to 100,000 subscribers, at least from a very high level. I mean, because I don't feel like it. What really is that valuable is granular tactics that don't apply to multiple niches. So I want to give you a top-down overview that you can execute on, and that's why I also wanted to incorporate both Kaizen, Ikigai, and also shuhari into the mix here to give you a mental model to work off of. And I feel like it is valuable for anyone trying to grow a channel to understand these things and to prioritize the level that you're at. Also, that's why the inventory of all of the previous videos I've made up until now, if you really think about it, they help you accomplish these three things. You can look at videos I've done that can help you with better, faster editing and production. I've even done things like my green screen tutorials. We have all kinds of things to help you with editing workflow. And they're recent videos, even for editing workflow, that we've done on the channel. So you can use those. We've done things on the strategy component to help you grow an audience. So we've done those. And then we've covered the monetization aspects and the business of being a creator to make this full time and make this sustainable. So those are like kind of your three levels to run through is creating better content, growing your audience and understanding your analytics, and then optimizing your monetization are kind of like those three big things that we focus on. And I think it's incredibly valuable to all of you to understand them better. Oh yeah. Like for most channels, it takes at least 5 to 7 years to get to 100K for most channels on YouTube. I've done like a study on that. It's like 3 to 5 years for most people if they ever make it. 90% of channels never even make it to 10K subscribers. But if you're going to get to 100K, and I'm going to bring on and onto the channel for some creator panels, but then also on my podcast, um, a lot of the creators that I've worked with that have gotten to 100K. Um, I've probably coached 500 or so creators in my time, 500 plus. I think 50 to 60 of them, maybe. I have to double check. My records indicate that of the roughly 500 creators that I've worked with, 50 to 60 of them got to silver play buttons and got to 100K or more. Some of them got to gold. Some of them got to gold. So, like maybe 10% of them, 10% of the people I've worked with got to silver play buttons. I think 1% of them or more, 1%, 2%, something like that, got to gold play buttons. I find that there is a lot to be said for in terms of people's capacity for success. One, some of it depends on the niche and the market they choose having the capacity for the growth in the first place. So that's a big deal, right? And Universo Hindu says, amazing job, Roberto, helped me on my journey to 100K, currently at 62. So more than halfway there. There you go. There's someone who can do it. There's someone who can absolutely do it. More than halfway there. Most people never get there, right? It's not that your odds are lower of getting these things. It's that your odds change if you change. If you change, like primary example, it's nearly impossible to even think about getting to 100K if you haven't even been able to monetize a channel. If you monetize a channel, then only 6% or so or less of creators currently are monetized. So that dramatically changes things because now you've made a prerequisite that most of the market has not. That's a big difference. If you cross 10K, 90% of the market hasn't done that. Your odds significantly increase of getting to 100K if you can do these other things. The majority of people who've done 100K plus on YouTube have been consistent on YouTube for at least 3 to 5 years minimum. That increases your odds, but they've also grown during that time and not stayed stagnant, and they've incrementally increased their capacity to gain more subscribers, and then they break through usually around year 7. Now, another component of people who get to 100K, a lot of them free up and go full time before they get to 100K. That's a bigger thing. Or a lot of them were in the position to go full time before they hit 100K. That means either their spouse subsidized them, their parents subsidized them, things like that. So, like, there are these qualifying things that create that condition, and consistency is a big part of it. Usually, hundreds of videos and the capacity to make higher quality stuff, some learning in the background, some of it benefits. I'll be honest, like, some people can do it because they're young and they're talented, but old and wise is just as well, or older and having resources is just as well. So those things can matter. Someone who's young and got all the time in the world, but they're not wise and they're very self-centered and they don't know how to put an audience first. Oh, those creators struggle all the time. I've known young people who have 80 hours a week that they could put into YouTube and they never crack 10K. Why? Because they're stubborn and they're self-centered and they make what they want and not what an audience exists for. There's a difference. And then you have people who know nothing about tech and like they grow and they get 100K because they're older, smarter, wiser, and their interest, skills, and passions happen to align with a market demand. And that's probably why they also seem to also be people who are professionals who succeeded in other areas of life a lot of times. So there's that. Now there are people who exist outside of that as well. Thank you, Thelma Thrift, $10. Thank you for your honesty and knowledge. Thank you. Appreciate you. Screenwriting scribe, less than 6%. I'm hedging on the 6% due to stats I'm trying to get on now that they lowered the requirements, at least for the fan funding tier of monetization. Now that there's two tiers of monetization, I'm hedging for that because it was about 3% before. So it's somewhere between 3 and 6 now. And like 6 might be me being generous at this point. It's probably closer to about 3%. Yeah, it's the same thing for me. After 100K, it's definitely easier to see where I could have done better. I have all the data in the world and we walk through it. So like that's how I know the answer. The best thing I know is that if you can make at least in the beginning phase, if you can make one video a week, but then spend the rest of your time learning to improve, that does better. When you get faster, it makes sense to go to 2 videos a week and then make 100 videos a year very strategically and do that for another year or two and see where it gets you. Double down on what is growing you the most and take the 20% of what grew you the most and turn that into your new 180% of your content and then 20% experimentation from there. And then that's extremely valuable, and then you rinse and repeat this process, and then that's how you grow to 100K. Yep. But anyway, that's going to be it for this one, everybody. Again, thank you to StreamYard for sponsoring today's stream. Couldn't do it without you. Love you guys over at StreamYard. We're going to close out with my book trailer. If you haven't gotten my book, the book is in the description down below. Make sure you're checking that out. Stay awesome. We'll catch you at the next stream. I think we have another one scheduled tomorrow. If I can handle it, we'll do it. If not, I might have to reschedule that one. I'll move it around. But I will catch you guys next time. I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like. This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out there and create